when Grandpa asked me to choose one of my four adopted sisters to marry. One rejected them all. In my previous life, Grandpa didn't want me to be lonely, so he adopted four older sisters from the orphanage. They doted on me since childhood, spoiling me into a young master everyone envied. But after Grandpa passed away, they all changed, because they fell in love with the poor student I sponsored. Not only did they give all my money to him, they even locked me in the villa, treating me like a broken-winged swan shared by four people. They couldn't bear to torment the poor student, so they used all 108 tricks on me instead. In the end, the poor student deliberately fell and injured himself, falsely accusing me of pushing him from behind. The four adopted sisters forcibly took my kidney, and I eventually bled to death on the operating table. After being reborn, the first thing I did was agree to marry Gu Qinghan from a military family. Right after leaving the Civil Affairs Bureau, I received a call from Grandpa, Xiaochen. That girl Gu Qinghan proposed to you 88 times in private. She truly loves you, and the women of the Gu family are famously devoted. Entrusting you to her puts Grandpa at ease. Grandpa is old now. I only hope someone can protect you. As for the company shares you gave those for adopted sisters, I've decided to take them all back. Since they aren't going to be your wives, it's inappropriate for them to keep those things. Listening to Grandpa comfort me, my eyes couldn't help but grow moist. In my previous life, Grandpa once said that the four adopted sisters were not suitable to be my wives, but I didn't listen. Now that I've been given another chance, I will definitely listen to Grandpa and never fall into the tragic ending of my past life again. Suppressing my emotions, I tried to sound cheerful. Grandpa, I'll listen to everything you say. Take good care of yourself at the Gu family's nursing home. I'll come visit you during the new year. After hanging up the phone, I went home. As soon as I reached the bedroom door, I saw Song Jingnian occupying my big bed. Song Jingnian was the ungrateful wretch I had sponsored, the poor student who, in my previous life, was loved to the core by my four adopted sisters. At this moment, the four women known as Haiqin's F4 were all gathered around Song Jingnian. The eldest sister, Zhang Wanru, the cold and aloof CEO of the Zhang Group, was holding an antique pocket watch, gently trying to please Song Jingnian. The second sister, Zhang Xiaoxiao, a gentle and dignified doctor, was carrying a bowl of medicine, carefully testing the temperature for Song Jingnian. The third sister, Zhang Qiangqian, the flirtatious movie queen famous across the internet, overflowing with charm, was tenderly holding Song Jingnian in her arms. The fourth sister, Zhang Yu, the rebellious female race car driver, was making funny faces to amuse Song Jingnian. I looked at the four people who felt both familiar and strange, and those humiliating nights suddenly became crystal clear again. Who could have imagined that the four women I trusted and loved most would treat me like the lowest kind of toy, destroying the love of my life? I clenched my phone tightly, forcing down the nausea in my chest, and walked in without knocking. The moment Song Jingnian saw me, he shrank fearfully into Su Lan's arms. Song Jingnian said pitifully, "Xiao Chen, I know this is your room. It's inappropriate for me to stay here, but the four of them said this room has the best sunlight and insisted I stay here." Song Jingnian loved pretending to be pitiful to gain sympathy. In my previous life, to avoid making the four adopted sisters dislike me, I suffered many losses because of this. But now that I don't even want the four of them anymore, why should I tolerate Song Jingnian? I let out a cold laugh and interrupted him. If it's inappropriate, then hurry up and get out. I'm getting married soon. No one else can stay in my house. I don't want my future wife to misunderstand. Zhang Yu immediately glared at me. Zhang Chen, can you even speak properly? If you can't speak properly, then don't speak at all. I think the one who should get out is you. The second sister also looked at me reproachfully. Even the usually indifferent and quiet eldest sister, Zhang Wanru, frowned. Xiao Chen, Grandpa did ask you to choose one of the four of us to marry, but none of us are prepared. Marriage is not something to joke about. The third sister, Zhang Qiangqian, simply helped the trembling Song Jingnian leave. It's just borrowing your room for a while. As his good friend, can't you give in to Jingnian a little? If you still want us to marry you, then you should tone down that spoiled young master temper of yours. With Jingnian here, no woman would choose you over him. If they had said such harsh words before, I would have been furious long ago. But now, I merely said expressionlessly, I never said I wanted to marry you either. Zhang Chen, who are you fooling? The fourth sister, Zhang Yu pointed at the row of gifts on the bookshelf. The random little gifts the four of us gave you. You treasured every single one of them, and now you're saying you won't marry us. Who would believe that? I followed Jong Yu's finger toward the bookshelf. It was nearly 2 meters tall and packed completely full. There were paper cranes casually folded by the third sister, a fountain pen once used by the eldest sister, a crystal glass ball from the second sister, and the first trophy the fourth sister won from racing. The more I once treasured these things, the more I hated them now. I walked straight toward the bookshelf, in front of the remaining 3 women. I raised my hand and grabbed the racing trophy. Then let me show you my determination not to marry any of you. As soon as I finished speaking, I smashed it hard. The trophy shattered into pieces, but I still wasn't done. I sneered and picked up the second item, the fountain pen from the eldest sister, then smashed the third item, the crystal glass ball from the second sister, then smashed the fourth item, the jar of paper cranes from the third sister. I grabbed their group photo and was about to smash it too, but the eldest sister, John Wanru, tightly grabbed my wrist. The woman looked furious. Her deep and indifferent eyes were filled with disappointment. Enough. She took the photo from my hands. Since you care so much about this room, then keep living here. We'll let Jingnian stay on the first floor. I stepped back, putting more distance between myself and the 3 adopted sisters left in the room. Before raising my eyes to stare at them, I said coldly, Grandpa bought this villa for me. I said Song Jingnian should get out. If you have a problem with that, then all of you can get out together. As I spoke, I took out a wet wipe and wiped the spot that John Wanru had touched. John Wanru's face instantly darkened. She turned and left without saying a word. Before leaving, John Yu still didn't forget to sneer. You actually made even the abstinent eldest sister so angry she couldn't speak. You're really something. The second sister also gave me a cold glance. Without saying anything, she left carrying her medical kit. But they didn't know. I wasn't trying to anger them on purpose. I genuinely felt disgusted. As long as I thought about my previous life, I wanted to vomit. I ran to the bathroom and threw up for a while, then called the servants to replace everything in the room. After that, I went to rest in the room on the top floor. I didn't go downstairs all night. The next morning, I carried my laptop to the rooftop garden for some fresh air. The moment I sat down, I received a call from Mangan Haute Couture, the world's top custom fashion brand. Mr. Zhang, the suit you designed 3 months ago has been completed. I opened the email and saw the finished custom-made suit in the attachment. I had designed the suit in my previous life as well, but in the end, it was worn by Song Jingnian. While I was lost in thought, the fourth sister, Zhang Yu, suddenly walked over. The second sister, Zhang Xiaoxiao, and the third sister, Zhang Qianqian, followed behind her. The 3 of them also saw the suit on my laptop screen. Zhang Yu, always sharp-tongued, immediately mocked me. So after throwing such a huge tantrum and smashing things, you were just playing hard to get. You've already designed the wedding suit. Isn't it obvious you're waiting to marry us? I didn't expect to run into them at this hour. Weren't they supposed to be downstairs sunbathing with Song Jingnian? What bad luck. I closed my laptop and looked directly at the 3 of them. You've misunderstood. Feel free to stay by Song Jingnian's side. I've already agreed to the marriage alliance with the Gu family. I won't compete with him for you. Hearing this, the third sister Zhang Qianqian suddenly changed expression. Even her usual carefree tone disappeared. The Gu family is a military family. They can crush 10 richest men with one hand. You can't joke around with people like them. Don't speak recklessly, or the eldest sister will have to clean up your mess again. The second sister, who had remained silent the whole time, pushed up her glasses and stepped forward to grab my hand. You've made enough trouble. Go apologize to Jingnian, and our family can continue living together peacefully. But I slapped away the second sister's hand, my face turning pale as I stepped back. Among the 4 of them, I couldn't endure the second sister's touch the most. How ridiculous. Back then, to protect the hands she used for surgery, I specifically instructed people to airlift the freshest milk from New Zealand for her hand treatments. But it was those very hands that removed my kidney and took my life. Even now, I still can't forget that heart-piercing pain. If you don't believe me, then fine. After leaving those words behind, I returned to my room and didn't come out again. That evening, a servant brought me a package. Inside was an ancient-looking dragon and phoenix engraved ring. At that moment, my phone rang. It was a message from Gu Qinghan, my arranged marriage partner, explaining that the ring was a Gu family heirloom, passed down only to son-in-law. To show my sincerity, I immediately put the ring on my ring finger and took a photo to send to Gu Qinghan. How does it look? Is it nice? Just after sending the voice message, I heard the third sister Jang Kyeonchan's lazy voice questioning from the doorway. What's nice? Before I could even turn around, the woman wrapped her arms around my waist from behind, with a forceful pull. The two of us fell onto the nearby sofa. Above my head, the woman wore a loosely draped nightgown, revealing the fullness beneath her collarbone. Her breath carried a strong scent of alcohol. Her drunken peach blossom eyes were red at the corners. Her exquisite and beautiful face smiled, but there was no warmth in her eyes. Whose ring is this? Take it off. Only a wedding ring belongs on your ring finger. You can't wear random things like this, just because you're throwing a tantrum. The woman's face was cold, and her eyes carried the possessiveness that I was all too familiar with from my previous life. Every time she looked at me like this, she would forcefully question me. Have the other three touched you here? The feeling of disgust surged instantly. My eyes reddened as I raised my hand and slapped Jang Kyeonchan. Did alcohol make you lose your mind? I'm Jang Shen, not Song Jingnian. But in the next second, Jang Kyeonchan grabbed my hand and viciously leaned down to kiss me. Suddenly, Song Jingnian's scream came from the doorway. I looked up and saw Song Jingnian's face filled with jealousy, as well as the other three adopted sisters who looked ready to kill. I took the chance to push Jang Kyeonchan away. At that moment, the woman no longer cared about me. She stood up in panic and hurried towards Song Jingnian. Jingnian, listen to me. Before she could finish, Song Jingnian suddenly clutched his chest and fainted on the spot. Jingnian, the second sister, immediately caught him and helped him leave. The third sister, Jang Kyeonchan, also hurried after them. I sat up coldly from the sofa when the fourth sister, Jang Yu, rushed over and immediately started scolding me. Jang Shen, you clearly know Jingnian likes the third sister, yet you still deliberately seduced her and kissed her in front of everyone. Are you disgusting or not? Disgusting? Of course it was disgusting, but the disgusting ones were the four of them. Suppressing my anger, I stared at Jang Wonru, who still hadn't left the room. And Jang Yu, are you both blind? Didn't you see me pushing her away? This is my room, yet every one of you barges in without permission. So who exactly is shameless? After speaking, I didn't wait for their reaction. I coldly drove the two of them out and slammed the door shut. I rubbed my temples to calm myself, then took out my phone to contact an agent to put this villa up for sale. After marrying Gu Qing'an, I would live with the Gu family. I would hardly ever return here. If the four of them wanted to live with Song Jingnian, then they could stop disgusting me in my own house. For the next several days, the four adopted sisters didn't come bother me. If it had been before, as long as they gave me the cold shoulder for one day, I definitely would have gone to apologize, hoping to preserve the relationship between us. Because of that, I had heard many hurtful words. If you're apologizing, then act sincere. If you don't know what you did wrong, then just give Jingnian whatever he wants. If you keep being this overbearing, then even if the four of us never marry for the rest of our lives, we still won't marry you. Now I only felt that my past self was foolish. If they didn't want me, there were plenty of others who would. I was enjoying the peace and quiet. But after only a few peaceful days, my phone started ringing nonstop. All the messages were from Song Jingnian, Jang Shen. So, what if you're the young master? They still only revolve around me. No matter what happens, they will always firmly stand by my side, supporting me. As long as I want to, I can take them away from you anytime. Ding, another notification sounded. A photo was sent from the other side. Song Jingnian sat among a pile of gifts, smiling brightly. And those gifts, along with the trophy I had smashed before, the fountain pen, the paper cranes, and the crystal glass ball, were exactly the same. I numbly turned off my phone and quietly submitted my graduation project design. I majored in design at university, and the work for this graduation project was the suit I had previously commissioned from Angin Hut Couture to create. A week later came the graduation ceremony of Hiking Design Academy. I attended the banquet. As soon as I entered the hall, I saw Song Jingnian surrounded by the four adopted sisters, like stars surrounding the moon. The eldest sister, Jang Wonru's eyes were gentle. This custom-made suit is the newest design from Angin Hut Couture. There's only one in the world, and it suits Jingnian the best. The second sister, Zhang Xiaoxiao, smiled softly. Jingnian is the most eye-catching prince in the room tonight. I wonder later if you'll let me have the first dance with you. The third sister, Jang Kyeonchan, gently kissed Song Jingnian's hand, her brows lifting flirtatiously. Jingnian, I want to invite you to be the male lead in my next movie. Would you agree? The fourth sister Jongyu was unwilling to lose either. Jingnian, I won a racing competition yesterday, and the prize was this: 30 million yuan ruby ring. Let me personally put it on you, the currently most sought-after F4 of hiking. The top financial genius, Zhang Wanru, the world-class Dr. Zhang Xiaoxiao, the double award-winning movie queen Zhang Qianqian, and the world's top professional female racer Zhang Yu, were now using every trick to pamper Song Jingnian. Meanwhile, I, who they once cherished in the palms of their hands, was mocked by everyone. Back then, the F4 always revolved around Zhang Chen, and Zhang Chen even said the F4 would marry him. What a joke. Obviously, Jingnian is the real prince. In the future, he'll definitely marry one of the F4. Jingnian is generous and kind, while Zhang Chen is arrogant and overbearing. If I were them, even if Jingnian made a mistake, I'd still protect him unconditionally. I paid no attention to those mockeries. For safety reasons, I had never told anyone that I was the grandson of Haiqing's richest man. Aside from Song Jingnian, everyone at school believed that Song Jingnian and I were both poor students. They thought everything I had was given to me because of the four adopted sisters' favoritism. But in reality, the members of the F4 were chosen and raised by grandpa from the orphanage. The Zhang family treated them like family, giving them resources and nurturing them. By now, wasn't it only natural for them to treat me well? But now, I no longer bothered explaining. In my previous life, it was at this banquet that the adopted sisters brought new wine, but the wine had been drugged. The five of us spent an entire day and night in madness. That day marked the beginning of my tragic life. This time, I only intended to quietly get through the banquet and absolutely avoid touching anything served at the party. But unexpectedly, Song Jingnian in the crowd, after enjoying enough envious gazes from others, actually walked toward me and handed me a glass of wine, smiling as he said, "Xiao Chen, don't listen to their nonsense. I know your four sisters care about you the most. Happy graduation." I didn't take the wine. Instead, I stepped back. I don't drink alcohol. After saying that, I pushed Song Jingnian aside and turned toward the lounge. Behind me came Zhang Yu's angry voice. What an ungrateful brat. I ignored her, choosing to avoid everything so I wouldn't repeat the same mistakes. But just a few minutes after entering the lounge, a familiar burning heat suddenly surged through my lower abdomen. My heart trembled violently. Even if I died, I would never forget this feeling. In my previous life, the adopted sisters often gave me drugs, so I could endure more. After the drug took effect, I would become someone without any sense of shame. I hadn't touched anything today. So how was I still drugged? I frantically took out my phone, my trembling fingers dialing 110. Right after I finished explaining the situation to the police, the lounge door was suddenly kicked open. I looked up as if reliving my previous life. The four adopted sisters were walking toward me. I backed away in terror, my legs trembling uncontrollably. Who told you to come here? Get out. Zhang Yu immediately stepped forward and snapped impatiently. Wasn't it you who sent us a message, insisting that we come? The other three also walked toward me. I didn't. Don't come closer. There was nowhere left for me to retreat. I curled into the corner, trembling. In a daze, it felt as though I saw my previous life again. The four of them taking turns surrounding me. Don't come over. Please don't. Under the effect of the drug, my face was flush red, my eyes brimming with tears. The dim light fell across my delicate pale face. I bit my lip. The corners of my eyes reddened, giving off an inexplicable allure. The four of them darkened their gazes. Not one of them stepped back. They moved closer one by one, surrounding me completely. The third sister, Zhang Qianqian, crouched down directly and grabbed my hair, her lips curling into a smile. Didn't you call us here yourself? Now that we've come, why are you still pretending? Playing hard to get. The four exchanged glances. The intense possessiveness in their eyes gradually overlapped with the memories from my previous life. I desperately tried to escape, but my body refused to obey me. Why? I was clearly only one step away from escaping the ending of my previous life. The four of them placed their hands on my waist, just when I was completely overwhelmed with despair. Bang, the door was pushed open. From the corner of my eye, I saw the police rushing toward me. 3 meters, 2 meters, 1 meter. Faster. Just a little faster. The moment the police officer helped me up, I finally relaxed and fainted. I was finally saved. I would never again fall into the same fate as my previous life. Never again. When I woke up again, I was in the hospital, The 4 adopted sisters were all surrounding me. The eldest sister, Jang Wonru, handed me a glass of water, her expression unusually gentle and concerned. "It's good that you're awake. Do you still feel uncomfortable anywhere? Drink some water." I felt somewhat dazed. It had been a long time since I had felt concern from the eldest sister's eyes. The other 3 exchanged glances, then nodded as if relieved that I was fine. Whether their concern was genuine or perfunctory, I couldn't even be bothered to care. I quietly took a sip of water, then heard Jang Wonru say, "Since you're fine now, go withdraw the police report yourself. The eldest sister knows you're the most sensible." The second sister immediately followed up. There was aphrodisiac incense in the lounge. The police found out Jingmian was responsible, but he was framed too. I believe he would never try to hurt you. The other 2 also joined in, telling me to let Song Jingmian go, as if terrified he might suffer even the slightest harm. I gripped the cup tightly, suppressing my fury. In this life, I hadn't drunk any alcohol, yet the aphrodisiac incense still appeared. Then the alcohol I drank in my previous life, was that also secretly arranged by Song Jingmian? Could it be that the source of my suffering in both lives was all because of Song Jingmian? The thought of it made my entire body tremble with rage. Every word seemed squeezed out through clenched teeth. I will never withdraw the case. The 4 of them left angrily after seeing my attitude, and never came back to the hospital to visit me. I stayed in the hospital recovering for 3 days, taking care of myself the whole time, and eating nothing but the hospital's standard patient meals. That morning, I had just taken a bite of porridge into my mouth. The ward door was suddenly pushed open. Song Jingmian walked in wearing leather shoes, smiling smugly. "Zhangchen, are you surprised to see me?" "So, what if you know I was the one who drugged you? With your 4 adopted sisters protecting me, nothing will happen to me anyway." I originally didn't want to bother with him, but when Song Jingmian tugged at his collar, and I saw the ancient dragon and phoenix silver ring on his finger, my expression finally changed. Looking down, the ring on my ring finger was indeed gone. Rage instantly surged through me as I got out of bed. "Song Jingmian, who allowed you to wear my ring? Take it off." Song Jingmian not only didn't remove it, he even raised his hand proudly. I just casually said I liked it. I didn't expect the second sister to take it off and give it to me. I couldn't be bothered listening to his boasting and reached out to snatch it back. But before I could even touch Song Jingmian, he immediately fell to the floor. The next second, the 4th sister Zhang Yu rushed in and shoved me away, carefully protecting Song Jingmian, without caring at all that my head had been injured from the push. The previously arrogant Song Jingmian now shrank into Zhang Yu's arms, with tears in his eyes as he said pitifully, "I'm sorry, Xiao Chen. The second sister gave me the ring. I just thought it looked nice and wanted to wear it for fun. I never meant to take your things. Please don't hit me. I'm scared." Zhang Yu immediately removed the ring and threw it viciously at me. "For some stupid ring, you actually attacked Jingmian. How can you be so vicious?" I ignored her and quickly picked up the ring, carefully wiping the dust off it. The second sister at the doorway also dropped her usual smile. "That ring looks dirty and worthless. Is it really that important? You're still recovering now, yet you don't even care about your health anymore. Come over and let me treat your wound." "Get out," I shouted at the 3 of them. "All of you get out." Zhang Yu was so shocked by my shout that she froze, then directly left with the secretly smug Song Jingmian. The second sister also left coldly without helping me up from the floor. After they left, I closed the door, without the slightest trace of sadness on my face. Only people I cared about could hurt me. In this life, I couldn't wait to cut ties with them. After another night passed, I was discharged from the hospital the next day, but unexpectedly, people pointed at me the entire way. I had a bad feeling and immediately took out my phone to check. My name was prominently trending online. Hiking Design Academy heartthrob Zhangchen accused of plagiarism. Poor student Song Jingmian's graduation. Design work plagiarism controversy. This had also happened in my previous life. At that time in my past life, I had already been locked inside the villa by the 4 adopted sisters. They used my account to apologize and admit guilt. My reputation throughout hiking was completely ruined. I took a deep breath and opened the trending topic, just like in all my past lives. This time, my 4 adopted sisters also unconditionally stood up for Song Jingmian. As soon as I opened the 3 viral videos online. At Zhang Group headquarters, the eldest sister Zhang Wanru faced the camera with an extremely serious expression. Song Jingmian is an outstanding talent highly valued by Zhang Group. I believe in him. At the new movie press conference, The third sister Jang Kyung-kian personally invited Song Jingnian onto the stage. The second sister accompanied him onto the stage. The two stood on either side holding Song Jingnian's hands and announced to everyone, "I will always believe Jingnian is a kind and pure person." At the racetrack, the fourth sister Jang Yu drove her race car, with the words supporting Song Jingnian emblazoned on it like a badge of honor, displayed proudly across the car. The wealthy Jang family of hiking, the famous F4, all standing behind Song Jingnian. In an instant, all public opinion turned one-sided. I became a rat despised by everyone. What design academy heartthrob? He's just a vain fraud. A poor student. I think Zhang Chen plagiarized Song Jingnian for the 5 million yuan prize money. No wonder the F4 don't revolve around Zhang Chen anymore. He's all looks and no substance. Unlike Song Jingnian, who's a truly talented genius. I stared at the screen. In my previous life, I had been forced to admit guilt, my reputation ruined, and blacklisted by the industry, falling into complete despair. But this time, I had already prepared in advance. I immediately returned to the villa and found my original drafts, then posted a clarification on Weibo, releasing the complete design drafts and creative concepts. Every source of inspiration was explained clearly in detail. At the end of the post, I left only one sentence, a short but powerful statement. Zhang Chen, would never plagiarize. This clarification post immediately caused heated discussion. But 3 minutes later, Weibo suddenly crashed, and my clarification disappeared. Then the eldest sister Zhang Wanru called me. "Xiao Chen, let's end the plagiarism matter here. Jingnian isn't in good health. I don't want him to be upset." The voice on the other end sounded light and casual, as if this were just some insignificant matter. My left hand clenched so tightly my nails dug into my flesh. "So, you're the one who had my clarification post deleted." The voice on the phone remained perfectly calm. "I was also the one who removed the trending topic." Before she could finish, I angrily interrupted her. "What right do you have to remove the trending topic? Clearly Song Jingnian plagiarized my work. Why should I be the one suffering the consequences?" The person on the other end replied indifferently, "You don't lack money anyway. Netizens are only enjoying temporary gossip. Don't worry, this matter will pass quickly." I was so furious at those shameless words that I laughed. Is this even about money? A designer branded as a plagiarist. How am I supposed to survive in this industry from now on? But the voice on the other end remained unquestionable. "You're the young master of the Zhang family. Even if you never work again, you could still live a lifetime without worrying about food or clothing. But if Jingnian is labeled as a plagiarist, he'll be rejected by the entire industry. As a poor student, he wouldn't be able to survive in the future. That's the end of this matter. You're not allowed to mention it again." After saying that, Zhang Wanru hung up the phone. My chest twisted painfully with anger. After living through 2 lives, I had been betrayed by them without hesitation both times. I was completely disappointed. Then I remembered that after agreeing to the marriage alliance earlier, Grandpa had verified a Weibo account for me as the Zhang family's young master. Account? I immediately logged into Weibo using the verified main account and posted a message that instantly shot to the top of the trending list. "I, Zhang Chen, am the only heir to Haiqing's richest Zhang family. I have no need to plagiarize for money." That single sentence caused an uproar. Using the Zhang family's young master account, I posted the original design drafts, along with the official communication records from 3 months earlier between me and NiceGamLii Haute Couture. Nquine Haute Couture was the world's most authoritative design brand. There was no way they would help someone fake evidence. The topic instantly soared to #1, and Song Jingnian was nailed to the pillar of shame. Netizens rushed to Song Jingnian's Weibo to curse him out. "This is disgusting. What tricks did you use, you manipulative green tea guy, to make the F4 abandon the young master and protect you instead? Maybe Song Jingnian has already slept with all 4 of them in private and become the F4's personal pretty boy. I'm rich too. Why don't you let me have some fun as well?" With the official verified account Grandpa gave me, no one could suppress the trending topic anymore. Less than half an hour after the Weibo post, the 4 adopted sisters, who hadn't returned to the villa in a long time, all came looking for me. The third sister Zhang Kyung-kian stepped forward, lowering her posture with the same gentle coaxing tone she used when we were young. "Xiao Chen, since you've already vented your anger, delete the Weibo post now." She reached out to help fix my messy hair, but I shoved her hand away. I looked at the 4 people standing before me. Now each of them had become successful and famous. They had probably long forgotten where all of this came from, but I didn't mind reminding them. I curled my lips into a mocking smile. So now you finally know to come looking for me. When I was branded with the stigma of plagiarism, what were you all doing? Every single one of you was supporting Song Jingnian. You've probably already forgotten that when Grandpa raised and trained you, it was because he hoped you would protect me. Not only did you fail to protect me, you hurt me over and over again for someone else. Do you really think I'll delete the Weibo post? Hearing me bring up Grandpa to pressure them, all four of them darkened their expressions. Zhangyu was the first to lose her temper. You're just jealous of Jingnian. Afraid he'll steal us away, aren't you? Fine, we'll marry you now, okay? I sneered at her condescending tone. No need. I don't want to marry any of you anymore. They clearly hadn't expected me to reject them outright. The expressions of the four of them grew even uglier, as though they were angry that they had already compromised and tried to coax me. Yet I was still acting so arrogant and unforgiving. Zhang Qianqian rubbed her temples and tried persuading me again. Be good. I know you want to marry one of the four of us. Now, you can pick whichever one you want. No matter who it is, she'll agree, as long as you delete the Weibo post. Zhang Wanru also voiced her stance, walking up to me and softly saying, as long as you delete the post, we can hold the wedding with you next week. I rejected her coldly. No need. I already have a wife. Her name is Gu Qinghan. Gu Qinghan likes me. She confessed to me privately 88 times. In the past, I had always believed I would only marry one of the four adopted sisters, so I never told them about Gu Qinghan's feelings for me. Now the four of them exchanged glances, clearly seeing the disbelief in each other's eyes. Zhang Yu sneered disdainfully. Gu Qinghan comes from a famous military family. They're strict about rules. I'm not trying to look down on you, but they want a refined gentleman. What do you have in common with a spoiled, willful young master like yourself? Anything at all. If you really can't choose, the four of us can even marry you together. I swept my gaze across them, and the other three had clearly tacitly agreed with Zhang Yu's words. I never expected that in order to restore Song Jingnian's reputation, the four of them would actually compromise to this extent. After being reborn, I once again used the same graduation design draft from my previous life. Not because I wanted to forgive Song Jingnian, but because I wanted to repay him in his own way. Just as I was about to refuse, Song Jingnian suddenly rushed into the room, crying as he knelt down and apologized. Xiao Chen, I truly didn't know that was your graduation design draft. I just accidentally saw the draft with the fourth sister and got inspired, so I borrowed from it. Please forgive me this once. I'm a poor student from the mountains. It wasn't easy for me to make it this far. If my reputation is ruined, my whole life will be over. I don't have any family left. If I return to my hometown, the people in the village will definitely sell me to some 60 or 70-year-old widow as a husband. The four of them looked at the pitifully crying Song Jingnian, and all felt heartbroken for him. Meanwhile, from beginning to end, I only coldly stared at the fourth sister. Zhang Yu could no longer maintain her composure. She walked over and picked Song Jingnian up from the floor, then glanced at me. Before leaving, she said, "Don't beg him anymore. Don't worry. Even if your reputation is ruined, I'll support you for the rest of your life." I didn't take Zhang Yu's words to heart at all, but beside her, Zhang Wanru also spoke up in agreement. You've really been spoiled rotten, I sneered. I'm the grandson of the richest man, the sole heir of the Zhang family. It's perfectly normal for me to be a little arrogant. Eldest sister, do you sympathize so much with Song Jingnian because he's an orphan? That word orphan instantly struck a nerve. For adopted sisters. After all, weren't they all personally taken in from the orphanage by Grandpa Zhang and raised? Even Zhang Wanru's usually cold expression turned livid with anger as she coldly turned and left. The second sister shook her head. You've truly disappointed me. Zhang Qianqian also lost the flirtatious smile she always wore and said indifferently, You've changed into someone I don't even recognize anymore. One after another, they all left. I stared at their backs and mockingly laughed at myself. Funny, isn't it? But in my previous life, that miserable existence of mine, shouldn't I have been the truly disappointed one? Now I've only spoken a few truths, and they already react like this. How ridiculous. I didn't want to think about them anymore. Instead, my wedding with Gu Qinghan was approaching. I should properly choose a gift for her. A necklace? A ring, earrings, or a brooch? I compared countless luxury brands, back and forth for a long time, from morning until night, before finally finding something satisfactory. Just as I was about to pay, I received a provocative message from Song Jingnian, Zhang Chen. So what if you refuse to delete the Weibo post? The four of them are compensating me by marrying me together on New Year's Eve. Immediately afterward, he sent a picture of the wedding invitation. On the invitation, there was one groom. And for brides, I casually opened moments. Sure enough, Song Jingnian had also posted the wedding invitation on his social media. I sneered and casually gave it a like, then replied with my blessings. Just as I was about to turn off my phone, the fourth sister Zhang Yu called me. Her voice sounded smug, as if she had been waiting for this call. Zhang Chen, do you realize your mistake now? As long as you apologize to Jingnian, we'll cancel the wedding. I sneered. I did nothing wrong. Why should I apologize? Since all of you approve of Song Jingnian and look down on me, this arrogant and willful young master, then I won't force myself into your circle anymore. The moment I finished speaking, I heard the voices of the other 3 adopted sisters on the other end. Zhang Yu exploded in anger. Before hanging up, she left only one sentence. You'd better not regret this. I would never regret it. In this life, I had finally escaped the miserable fate of my previous life. I wish nothing more than to stay far away from the 4 of them. After turning off my phone, I slept peacefully through the night. The next morning, I was awakened by a ringtone. It was Grandpa calling me. Xiao Chen, I've seen everything happening online. I never expected that after all these years. I raised for ungrateful ingrates. I'll immediately give the order to revoke all their privileges. Even through the phone, I could feel Grandpa's fury. I was worried he would anger himself sick, so I gently persuaded him. Grandpa, don't be angry anymore. I don't like them anymore. And besides, I already have Gu Qinghan. Didn't you say it yourself that she would protect me from now on? Only then did Grandpa calm down. Your wedding with Gu Qinghan is set for 1 week from now, on New Year's Eve. During this time, prepare yourself properly. After hanging up the phone, I received another message from the real estate agent, Mr. Zhang. The house has been sold at a high price. The buyer will come to complete the handover on New Year's Eve. I curled my lips into a smile as I got out of bed. Very good. That way, after I leave, the 5 of them won't be able to stay here and discuss me anymore. I went downstairs and instructed the servants to gather up everything in the villa related to the 4 adopted sisters. Then I burned it all clean in the courtyard. I even had someone call in excavators to dig up all the crabapple trees in the yard. Those crabapple trees had been planted on the very first day the 4 adopted sisters came to our home. When I was 10 years old, the crabapple trees had witnessed all our years together. But now I only found them irritating. I wanted to uproot them completely, just like cutting those for people entirely out of my heart. After finishing all this, the villa felt empty, yet completely renewed. I had just planned to rest for a while, when I heard Zhang Yu's questioning voice at the door. Where are the crabapple trees in the yard? Why were they dug up? I turned around and saw Zhang Yu walking toward me, her gaze sweeping over me. I thought she was about to lose her temper, but instead she casually said to herself, just as well, Jingnian doesn't like crabapple flowers anyway. From now on, we'll plant pure white lilies instead. Jingnian likes those. I curled my lips slightly and mockingly said, from now on, you and Song Jingnian are family. You can plant whatever you want. Zhang Yu suddenly froze, as if she hadn't expected me to say that. The way she looked at me turned complicated for a moment, then awkward. If you'd thought like this earlier, wouldn't everything have been fine? The moment she finished speaking, my phone started ringing. It was the wedding planner arranged by Gu Qinghan. Mr. Zhang, 1 week from now, the wedding venue and arrangements have all been sent to your email. Please check if there's anything you'd like changed. I didn't open the email and directly replied, you can arrange everything. I trust you. The phone volume was loud, so Zhang Yu beside me heard it too. The woman sneered smugly. You wouldn't happen to know that our wedding with Jingnian is also in 1 week, so you're deliberately holding a wedding too, trying to stage some bride-stealing drama. Zhang Chen, when you do something wrong, you have to be punished. Regretting it now is useless. The 4 of us already promised to give Jingnian a unique wedding. None of the 4 of us will be stolen away by you. I smiled faintly and gave her an extremely calm look. I know all of you love Song Jingnian. Don't worry, I won't steal his wedding. I won't marry any of the 4 of you ever again. I already have my own wife. But Zhang Yu clearly didn't believe me. She even pulled out her phone from her leather jacket pocket, right in front of me, and started a video call with the other adopted sisters. Do you know, Zhang Chen deliberately planned a wedding 1 week from now too. just to steal us away from Jingnian. As she spoke, she pointed the phone screen at me. I was forced into their video frame. I saw the other 3 adopted sisters, all putting aside their work at that very moment, staying by Song Jingnian's side. Zhang Wanru glanced at me, her brows slightly furrowed. The decision we've made will not change. The smile in the second sister's eyes also turned cold. Stop wasting your effort. Zhang Qianqian turned her head to coax Song Jingnian. Jingnian, don't worry. None of us will be stolen away by him, word by word. As if afraid they wouldn't hurt me enough. But from beginning to end, I kept smiling. You can rest completely assured. I have my own wedding. I don't know how to steal someone else's. As soon as I finished speaking, I directly hung up the video call. I truly didn't want to keep looking at those faces. Waving around in front of me, Zhang Yu put away her phone. Seeing that I refused to listen, and clearly didn't plan to stay any longer, she gave me a warning glance. Jingnian likes this house. We'll have him leave for the wedding from this villa, and head to the ceremony. Don't cause trouble. I didn't respond. The house handover just happened to be scheduled for the wedding day. She could say those words to the real owner of the house instead. In the blink of an eye, it was New Year's Eve, the day of both my wedding and Song Jingnian's. That morning, I carried my luggage downstairs and ran into Song Jingnian. Dressed in a luxurious tailored suit, the flawless cut and diamond-studded buttons looked elegant and refined. It was exactly the suit from my graduation design. Song Jingnian glanced at me wearing only a shirt and slacks, his smile unbearably smug. Don't you also have a wedding today? Why aren't you wearing a custom suit? You don't seriously think carrying your luggage and pretending to run away from home will make those get stolen away by you, do you? I'm telling you, impossible. This wedding is being live-streamed the entire time. I'll be the handsomest groom for all 4 of them. I couldn't even be bothered to respond to him. I only coldly replied, then I wish you happiness. I hope the 5 of you stay locked together for life and never come ruin my life again. I carried my suitcase out into the courtyard. The moment I looked up, I ran into the 4 adopted sisters dressed in wedding gowns. Zhang Wanru wore a simple white mermaid wedding dress, beautiful as ever. With a cold and elegant temperament, the second sister wore a pink strapless gown, a fluffy skirt paired with a princess hairstyle, making her look graceful and gentle. Zhang Qianqian's satin wedding dress was exquisitely tailored. The plunging neckline faintly revealed curves the fabric could barely contain. Zhang Yu wore a custom oversized wedding gown, perfectly highlighting her unruly nature. When the 4 of them saw my luggage, they all paused for a moment, exchanging glances. A trace of panic flashed through their eyes as they questioned in unison, "Where are you going?" Zhang Qianqian even stepped forward and grabbed my hand, but I avoided her and calmly replied, "To attend my wedding." The 4 of them, who had originally been worried, actually relaxed after hearing that. That relaxed attitude made it obvious they thought I was just playing hard to get. Zhang Wanru stepped forward and calmly looked at me. As long as you stop targeting Jingnian and peacefully coexist with him, we will honor Grandpa's promise and marry you, registering the marriage with you. The others also chimed in. As long as you accept Jingnian, we can become the happiest family. Today is New Year's Eve. If you sincerely admit your mistakes, then stay home and prepare the New Year's Eve dinner. After our wedding, we'll all celebrate the new year together. I still smiled faintly. I've already made myself very clear. I'm getting married today too, starting from today. Every new year I spend from now on will have nothing to do with you. After saying that, ignoring the dark expressions of the adopted sisters, I directly walked toward the large lawn outside the villa. Seeing they couldn't persuade me, none of them bothered with me anymore. Instead, they carefully escorted Song Jingnian into the wedding car like a treasure. Just then, a series of roaring sounds came from above. Dozens of helicopters marked with the Gu family emblem descended onto the lawn. Under everyone's shocked gazes, 2 rows of soldiers dressed in the highest level military ceremonial uniforms all lined up and walked toward me, saluting respectfully. "We are here under Commander Gu Qinggan's orders to escort Mr. Zhang Shen, the groom, to the wedding ceremony." Those dozens of helicopters bearing the Gu family emblem, along with the soldiers on the lawn, truly shocked everyone present. As the helicopters flew higher and higher, visible panic spread across the faces of the 4 women below. Just as they were about to chase after me, Song Jingnian, dressed in a suit, directly stepped in front of them, putting on his usual pitiful act. "Big sister, second sister, third sister, fourth sister. I never expected that Xiao Chen would go this far." just to steal you away from me. I've never heard of a wedding where the bride doesn't even show up. He must have spent a fortune hiring actors. The four women who had been anxious to leave stopped moving after hearing Song Jingnian's words, though they still felt uncertain. After all, no one dared joke around with the Gu family. Song Jingnian immediately continued, tears glistening at the corner of his eyes. Even a nobody like me knows that the Gu family isn't something you joke about. Xiao Chen deliberately hired people to put on this act, and if he offends the Gu family later, he still has the Zhang family backing him. But what about me? He's trying to ruin our wedding and make me the laughingstock of all hiking. That way, I'll be left all alone and won't be able to survive in hiking anymore. He's trying to destroy me. After hearing this, all doubts in the four women's hearts disappeared, and they all frowned. Zhang Yu adjusted the hem of her wedding dress and angrily said, "We almost got tricked by Zhang Shen. How can he be so vicious?" Seeing that the four women had been persuaded, Song Jingnian blinked his doe-like eyes several times, then lowered his head and said pitifully, "Other than you all, I have nothing left." Unlike Xiao Chen, who's the Zhang family's young master, no matter what happens to him, he'll always live comfortably and can recklessly do whatever he wants. And every step of my life has been difficult. If I lose you all, I don't know how I'll keep living. Almost instantly, Song Jingnian's eyes filled with tears. Seeing him like this, the four women were heartbroken and hurried over to comfort him. Third sister Zhang Qianqian directly pulled him into her arms and coaxed him. "Don't worry, none of us will abandon you. Stop crying, or your makeup will be ruined." Second sister pulled out her silk scarf and gently wiped away his tears. "Didn't we promise to give you a special wedding? We won't go back on our word." Zhang Yu quickly chimed in, "Exactly. Today is our wedding. You're the most handsome groom. You're the treasure of the four of us. We dote on you so much. How could we ever abandon you?" "Right, big sister." The usually stern and composed Zhang Wanru also nodded at this moment and comforted him. "That's right. We won't abandon our handsome groom. The wedding will proceed as planned." After saying that, the four women escorted Song Jingnian into the extended Rolls-Royce. Seeing him get jealous, the women all surrounded and pampered him. Song Jingnian finally stopped crying, though his voice was still choked with emotion. "Having you all is wonderful." Seeing Song Jingnian smile through his tears, the four women finally relaxed. Zhang Yu quickly replied, "Of course. Today you'll be the most envied man in all of hiking." The famous hiking F for marrying the same man at the same time was already eye-catching. Not to mention that the groom was Song Jingnian, who had just been caught in a plagiarism scandal a few days ago. This undoubtedly attracted countless netizens to watch. More and more people flooded into the livestream, and the comments scrolled nonstop. I have to admit, this poor student really has some skills to make these four women revolve entirely around him. If Zhang Shen really is the young master of a wealthy family, then what exactly are the true identities of the F4? No matter what they are, they're seriously blind. Leaving aside such an amazing rich young master like Zhang Shen, just to pamper this plagiarizing poor student. Inside the car, Song Jingnian had originally thought countless people would envy him, but 9 out of every 10 comments in the livestream were insulting him. His face instantly darkened. Zhang Qianqian, sitting beside him, immediately noticed it and reached out to cover his eyes. "Don't look at all those negative comments in the livestream. Today, you should be the happiest groom." Zhang Wanru directly raised her hand, signaling the staff to stop the livestream. Just as they were about to turn off the large screen in the car, they saw a comment flash across it. "I don't think those helicopters were hired actors at all. Those were real military helicopters, and those people were all wearing the highest level ceremonial military uniforms. How could they possibly be fake actors?" Zhang Qianqian's expression instantly darkened as she recalled the shocking scene from earlier. "We are here under Commander Gu Qinggan's orders to escort Mr. Zhang, the groom, to the wedding ceremony." Zhang Qianqian exchanged glances with the other 3 women. Clearly, they had all seen that comment. Though they kept saying they didn't believe me, an uncontrollable sense of panic began rising in their hearts. For a moment, everyone inside the car fell silent. Recently, I really had grown distant from them. In the past, if I made any of the 4 women unhappy, I would definitely go apologize and do everything I could to please them. No matter what they asked me to do, I would agree. I would put aside my young master's pride and arrogance, just to make the four of them pay attention to me again. But during this past month, my behavior had been completely abnormal. Not only did I stop apologizing to them, I didn't even contact them first anymore. The more Jong Yu thought about it, the stranger it felt. She nervously spoke up, "Big sister, do you think those helicopters might actually be real?" Before she could finish speaking, Song Jingnian interrupted her, because Zhang Qianqian had covered his eyes. He hadn't seen that comment, and asked in confusion, "What's wrong with those helicopters?" Zhang Yu quickly shook her head. "It's nothing. Jingnian, you got up early today and worked hard. You should take a good rest now. There will be plenty to do at the wedding later." Looking at Zhang Yu's expression, Song Jingnian could clearly tell she was hiding something from him. No matter what, today's wedding absolutely had to go on smoothly. He couldn't let them go looking for Zhang Shen. He spoke somewhat awkwardly. "Actually, last night I overheard Xiao Chen talking to his grandfather on the phone. Those helicopters were arranged by Zhang Shen through his grandfather. And he even threatened me not to tell you. Otherwise he'd kick me out of the villa." As soon as he finished speaking, tears instantly reddened his eyes. Zhang Yu was the first to react after hearing that. "I knew it. The Gu family are military elites. How could they possibly play along with his nonsense?" So Grandpa stepped in after all. He's really as arrogant and willful as ever, pulling all these tricks, just to make us abandon Jingnian and go after him. "Jingnian, don't worry. We absolutely won't let him get his way. After he apologizes to you and admits his mistakes, we'll consider whether or not to live together with him." The others in the car clearly also believed those helicopters had been arranged by Grandpa, and the panic in their hearts lessened somewhat. The entire way, they attentively took care of Song Jingnian. At this moment, inside the top banquet hall of Union Manor, a giant crystal fountain flowed gently at the center, perfectly complementing the melodious symphony music. Outside, the red carpet stretched deep into the banquet hall, with colorful seas of flowers on both sides. It looked exactly like a fairy tale wedding venue. The helicopter landed at the very center of the red carpet, and I suddenly felt nervous for no reason. Back when my heart only held the four sisters, I had never cared about Gu Qinggan's private confessions. But this time, I strangely felt a sense of anticipation and closeness. During the days when I hadn't seen her, I often heard the elders mention her. Clearly, she was the most outstanding among this generation of children. Whenever Grandpa talked to me on the phone, he was always full of praise for Gu Qinghan. I took out the brooch I had chosen for Gu Qinghan, then faced the mirror, and repeatedly checked my appearance. Only after confirming that nothing was out of place did I step off the helicopter. 2 hours later, my four adopted sisters and Song Jingnian also arrived at Union Manor. Those helicopters parked on the open grounds of Union Manor were extremely eye-catching. The moment they got out of the car, they spotted me. Zhang Yu curled her lips into a mocking smile. As expected, Zhang Sheng really came to ruin our wedding with Jingnian. The other three clearly also believed that my appearance at Union Manor had been planned all along, pretending to say I was marrying someone else, when in reality, I couldn't let them go. Playing hard to get, trying to make them cancel the wedding with Jingnian. Song Jingnian tugged at the hem of his suit like a frightened little rabbit. His eyes instantly reddened. "Big sister, second sister, third sister, fourth sister. Is Xiao Chen trying to steal the wedding? What if he causes trouble at our wedding later? Who knows what terrible tricks he'll use? I'm so scared that I won't be able to marry the four of you." The expressions of the others nearby changed instantly after hearing that. Zhang Yu spoke before anyone else. "Don't worry. Even if the sky falls today, we'll still marry you." The usually quiet second sister also comforted him gently. "We already promised to give you the most special wedding, and we always keep our word. Nothing else will affect it." Third sister Zhang Qianqian tapped Song Jingnian's nose and smiled at him with a raised brow. "How could we let the most handsome groom today down?" From beginning to end, eldest sister Zhang Wanru remained calm. "Don't worry. Every part of the wedding has already been arranged. I'll have people watching closely. I absolutely won't allow any accidents to happen." Undoubtedly reassured Song Jingnian completely. He couldn't help but secretly feel smug. The wedding of the four women and Song Jingmian was being held in Union Manor's premium banquet hall, right next to my top-tier banquet hall. Both banquet halls were extremely luxurious. But the premium banquet hall, compared to the top-tier banquet hall, naturally fell far short. That diamond fountain in the center was something the premium banquet hall didn't have. A trace of gloom flashed through Song Jingmian's eyes. Why should his wedding not use the best banquet hall? He tugged on third sister Zhang Qianshan's sleeve and pouted as he said, "Third sister, that fountain is so beautiful. Can our wedding be held in that top-tier banquet hall?" Zhang Qianshan also looked somewhat puzzled. Eldest sister arranged the wedding venue. Logically, it should all be the highest standard. So, why didn't we reserve that top-tier banquet hall? Eldest sister, Jingmian wants to switch to the top-tier banquet hall. See if you can negotiate it. Zhang Wanru rubbed her temples and explained. When I contacted them before, the person in charge at Union said, the top-tier banquet hall isn't open to the public. Zhang Yu, impatient as always, directly pulled over a nearby staff member and asked, "Can you switch us to the top-tier banquet hall? We'll pay whatever extra amount is needed." The staff member was clearly yanked a little too hard, but quickly recovered. "Miss, I'm very sorry, but we cannot change your reserved venue. The top-tier banquet hall is not open to the public." Zhang Yu looked at the helicopters, parked on the open grounds outside, and assumed that I must have rented it. She spoke disdainfully. "Stop saying it's not open to the public. Isn't it already rented out to outsiders now? Tell your boss, we'll pay 10 times the price for today's wedding. Must be held in the top-tier banquet hall today." After Zhang Yu said that, without caring whether the staff agreed or not, she directly grabbed Song Jingmian and walked to the entrance of the top-tier banquet hall. Just as they were about to enter, they were stopped by the security guards. "Sorry, miss, you don't have an invitation, so you can't enter." Zhang Yu was clearly enraged. "Believe it or not, with just one phone call from me, the people inside will beg me to come in." The moment those words fell, I walked out from the dressing room. This is my wedding venue, not a place where just any random stray can walk in. After getting off the helicopter, I had been taken straight to the dressing room. At that moment, I was dressed in a custom-made suit. My shirt and trousers were impeccably neat, the buttons fastened all the way to the top, unable to conceal my noble aura, like a prince from the medieval era. The moment they saw me, Zhang Yu forgot her anger. A dark emotion gradually rose in her eyes. The other three who had rushed over also froze for a moment. When they saw me in the suit, they stared at me intently, their gazes deep and piercing, their eyes openly burning with desire. Zhang Qianshan stepped forward, trying to grab me, but was stopped by the security guard beside her. She stared at me fixedly, her throat bobbing unconsciously. When she spoke, her voice was slightly hoarse. "Xiao Chen, stop throwing a tantrum. We're only holding a wedding ceremony with Jingmian, not legally registering it. Today, give this top-tier banquet hall to Jingmian, and we won't pursue the Weibo issue anymore." Second sister also stepped forward. When she looked at me, the tenderness in her eyes was even deeper than before. "That's right. As long as you give the banquet hall to Jingmian, we'll pretend none of the previous things ever happened. Our family can still live happily together." In eldest sister Zhang Wanru's usually cold eyes, a trace of desire she herself hadn't noticed was now surging within. When she spoke, her voice was slightly hoarse. "You should have caused enough trouble these past few days. Be good and go home first. After we finish the wedding with Jingmian, we'll go back and stay with you." I looked at the people before me, a mocking smile curling on my lips. Even now, these people still hadn't taken my words seriously. They thought I was just throwing a tantrum, but I no longer cared. I spoke calmly. "I already said I'm here to get married. This is my wedding venue. Why should I give it to?" Before I could finish, Song Jingmian suddenly let out a puzzled sound. His eyes filled with innocent curiosity. "Xiao Chen, you said you're here to get married. But why haven't I seen the bride? Can someone really get married alone? Don't tell me you're still trying to steal the wedding." I was truly fed up with Song Jingmian acting like such a scheming green tea. I replied irritably, "I already told you, I have my own wife. The 5 of you can do whatever you want. Just don't come bother me, or my wife might misunderstand when she sees it." Song Jingmian looked around, then blinked and asked, "Xiao Chen, you've talked for so long, but where exactly is your wife?" The 4 adopted sisters also looked around, but indeed saw no bride. They became even more convinced that I was deliberately causing trouble. Zhang Wanru glanced at her watch, then spoke again, her tone turning stern. Xiaochen, stop throwing a tantrum. The wedding ceremony with Jingnian is about to begin. Give this top-tier banquet hall to us for the ceremony. I'll have someone send you back to the villa. Hearing that the ceremony was about to start, even second sister's usually gentle tone became somewhat impatient. Using the same little tricks over and over again is meaningless. I snapped back directly. Who's playing tricks with you people? I said I have a wife. My wife is Gu Qinghan. After saying that, I directly ordered the security guards to start driving them out. The 5 of them, Todd, are not allowed to appear at the entrance of the banquet hall today. If one comes, throw one out. Yes, young master. After receiving the order, the security guards immediately started driving them away. Zhang Yu's anger instantly flared. The Gu family is a prestigious military family. How could they possibly fancy a domineering young master like you? I'm telling you, stop delaying our wedding with Jingnian here, and hurry back home. As soon as she finished speaking, a dignified and powerful voice sounded from behind Zhang Yu. I think the ones who should leave are you people. Gu Qinghan stepped out of the car with long strides. The woman had exquisite features, cool and elegant brows and eyes, a restrained temperament. She wore a layered gauze wedding gown, adorned with delicate rose embroidery, accentuating the graceful line of her neck. Her snowy skin faintly visible beneath the gauze, like a captivating fairy fallen into the mortal world. An antique crown from the last century rested on her head, making her appear noble and elegant. She walked past my 4 adopted sisters and Song Jingnian, and came directly to my side. Gu Qinghan gazed at me gently. Sorry I'm late. I received an urgent mission at the last minute. I had to handle it before rushing over. I looked up, and could still see the fine sweat on her forehead. Clearly she had rushed here without stopping. Subconsciously, I wanted to wipe the sweat for her. Just as I raised my hand, Zhang Yu's voice interrupted me. And where did you find this actor from? We don't have time to waste with you. Hurry up and give the banquet hall to Jingnian. Our ceremony is about to begin. Because of Gu Qinghan's military background, she rarely appeared in public. There were no photos of her in magazines or the media. Besides, before this, Gu Qinghan had only confessed to me in private. So it was normal that the people here didn't recognize her. Seeing me continue stalling here, only delaying the timing of their wedding, Song Jingnian started acting pitiful again, squeezing out to tears. Xiaochen, I know you're jealous that the sisters are marrying me. They're only helping me because they don't want everyone looking down on me. That's why they're marrying me together. Now everyone already knows about this. If you keep blocking the wedding from happening, then I'll become everyone's laughingstock. At that point, I really won't be able to survive in hiking anymore. I'll only be able to return to my rural hometown. If that happens, I'll never escape those mountains for the rest of my life. After Song Jingnian finished speaking, large tears began falling from his eyes. Seeing him like this, the 4 adopted sisters were heartbroken, but I didn't indulge him anymore. I spoke directly to the point. The reason you can't survive is because you plagiarized my graduation design. You were the one who did something wrong. I didn't ruin you. Stop pretending to be pitiful here. Hearing those words, Zhang Yu clenched her fist. Looking at me through gritted teeth, she said, Zhang Sheng, enough already. Jingnian already apologized to you for that matter. He only saw it on my computer and got inspiration from it. He didn't intentionally plagiarize. You keep refusing to let this go. Who are you putting on this aggressive act for? A cold smile curled on my lips. I'm being aggressive. If he really thought he had done something wrong, then he wouldn't still knowingly wear the suit I designed, while fully aware that he plagiarized it. The moment those words came out, Zhang Yu was immediately left speechless. Zhang Wanru frowned, her tone several degrees sharper than usual. Enough. This matter ends here. She then turned to look at Gu Qinghan beside me, who was dressed in cool elegance, her gaze sweeping over Gu Qinghan. Based on Zhang Wanru's instincts, after years of battling in the business world, the woman before her was definitely not as simple as an actress. She fell silent for a moment before speaking lightly. Xiaochen, it seems over the years, we've really spoiled you too much. After our wedding with Jingnian is over, we'll have to properly teach you some manners. Second sister, who had been silent all this time, also spoke. As long as you step aside now, and let us, and Jingnian, finish the wedding smoothly tonight, then we won't make you apologize anymore. Gu Qinghan directly stepped forward to shield me behind her. Her face darkened, her tone carrying undeniable pressure. The man belonging to me, Gu Qinghan, isn't someone you get to discipline. The moment Gu Qinghan spoke, the expressions of the women opposite us all darkened, especially Zhang Qiangqian. When she saw me standing behind Gu Qinghan, an inexplicable fire flared inside her. She wiped the smile off her face, narrowing her eyes as she examined Gu Qinghan, her voice dripping with mockery as she spoke. Which entertainment company are you signed to? I think you really do have the potential to become a best actress. Do you even know who Gu Qinghan is? To dare impersonate her. Hearing those words, Gu Qinghan turned and exchanged a glance with me, as if asking me whether these adopted sisters of mine had always been like this. Unable to understand human language, I nodded at her in response, seeing the way we were exchanging glances. Zhang Yu immediately flew into a rage. Zhang Cheng, don't take things too far. Do you know what kind of background the Gu family has? If they find out, big sister will have to clean up your mess again. Hurry up and give us this banquet hall. We're about to hold the wedding with Jingmian. Gu Qinghan let out a faint laugh, then signaled with her eyes to the bodyguards who had arrived with her. Take them away. Since you people can't understand human language, then let me teach you how to behave directly. After throwing these 5 people out of the resort, ban them from entering any property under the Gu family's name. Only then did the 5 of them notice the bodyguards behind her. Unlike the resort security guards, the bodyguards were heavily muscular, and their aura clearly screamed military. Zhang Yi still wanted to say something, but Zhang Wanru directly shouted, "Shut up." Zhang Wanru raised her eyes and met Gu Qinghan's gaze. Those deep eyes, and the overwhelming aura radiating from her entire body, were all telling her one thing. The person before them might really be Gu Qinghan. Before the bodyguards behind her could drive them away, she chose to compromise. We don't want this banquet hall anymore. We'll go back to the original hall and hold the wedding there instead. No matter who you are. You know the Zhang family's status in hiking, and our 2 families have always worked together. Making things too ugly won't benefit anyone, as expected of someone seasoned in the business world. Zhang Wanru knew exactly how to manipulate people, but Gu Qinghan paid no attention at all to her words. Her brows cold as she said sharply, if I remember correctly, you people were only adopted by Grandpa. You're not real heirs. Without the Zhang family, you are nothing. If Grandpa knew that this is how you bully his grandson, he probably would have thrown you out long ago. Before I lose my patience, get out yourselves. You're not welcome here. Gu Qinghan's words hit every one of them right where it hurt. But clearly none of them intended to leave. All of them clenched their fists tightly. Yet unlike before, none of them dared to provoke her. To some extent, they had all sensed the oppressive pressure radiating from Gu Qinghan, combined with Big Sister's earlier warning. The few of them could only glare fiercely at Gu Qinghan without saying a word. Zhang Wanru had always been composed, but now she was clearly furious, as if someone had stepped on her tail. She coldly replied to Gu Qinghan directly. We can leave, but Xiao Chen has to come with us. We are his fiancés. We can't allow him to stay with another woman. Gu Qinghan's slightly furrowed brows carried a sharp edge, her entire body radiating the untouchable aura of someone in power. Zhang Wanru met her gaze, a chill flashing through her eyes. Neither side was willing to back down. Who gave you the confidence to think you're Xiao Chen's fiancés? Today is my wedding with Xiao Chen. From now on, he belongs to me, Gu Qinghan, and has nothing to do with any of you anymore. After saying that, Gu Qinghan raised her hand directly, ordering people to tie up and drag away the 5 nuisances. Suddenly letting her new husband witness such a ruthless scene made Gu Qinghan feel a little nervous. She turned and lowered her head to look at me. When she spoke again, her voice had softened considerably. Xiao Chen, would you be afraid of the sight of me? Gu Qinghan had been born into a powerful family like the Gu family. To stand firmly there, she naturally needed some methods. It's just that she never wanted to show the side of herself in front of me. I raised my head and met her gaze. My eyes filled with sincerity. No, instead I should thank you for helping me solve several huge problems. Hearing me say that, Gu Qinghan finally relaxed. It wasn't as if she had never heard about the situation between me and my Yang sisters. She also knew that originally, one of them was supposed to become my fiancé and marry me. She had always thought my Yang sisters treated me very well. But after seeing things today, she finally understood how much I had suffered. Gu Qinghan's gentle gaze stayed fixed on me the entire time. Her expression resolute. Being stared at by her like that made me feel embarrassed. My cheeks flushed slightly red. She took out a carefully wrapped piece of qianxi cake and placed it into my palm. You must be hungry after waiting so long. Eat something first to fill your stomach. I was drowning in her tenderness, feeling light and floaty all over. Subconsciously, I unwrapped the qianxi cake and took a bite. Soft, with just a hint of sweetness that wasn't overpowering. It tasted really good. Halfway through eating, I suddenly remembered something and took out the brooch I had prepared long ago from my bag. When I handed it to her, I didn't dare look into her eyes at all. This is the gift I picked out for you. Although this isn't our first meeting, I still wanted to give you something. I spent a long time choosing this. I don't know if you'll like it. Gu Qinghan immediately accepted it. Looking at the person before her with smiling eyes, she softly replied, I like it. As long as it's from you, I'll like it. She hadn't expected her husband to be this adorable and shy. For a moment, she really wanted to pinch my cheeks, but she restrained herself, afraid she might scare me. Ever since the first time she met me, she had sworn she would marry me. But later, because of family matters, she couldn't stay by my side all the time, which made her miss so many years of my growth. Gu Qinghan secretly swore to herself that from now on, she would treat me twice as well and make up for all the lost years. Because Grandpa wasn't in good health, I didn't let him leave the hospital to attend the wedding. Gu Qinghan was afraid of putting pressure on me, so she only invited a few elders from the family. The wedding ceremony wasn't complicated. After the wedding was over, I followed her back to the military district family quarters. Gu Qinghan had arranged the marital home beautifully. Even slippers, toothbrushes, and towels had all been prepared for me in advance. It's just that compared to the villa, the military district environment was indeed a bit lacking. Gu Qinghan lowered her eyes to look at me. I originally thought about leaving you at the villa in the city, but the Gu family's relationships are complicated. I didn't want you staying there alone, facing all those people. That's why I wanted you to follow me to the military district. The conditions here may be a little worse, but here, absolutely no one can come bother you again. Here, you can peacefully do the things you like. After saying that, she gently rubbed my head. You've been tired today too. After washing up, let's rest early. My face instantly became a little hot. Later, are we sleeping in the same bed or under the dim lighting? The blush on my face was faintly visible, as if I were drunk. Gu Qinghan stepped closer. The distance between us instantly shortened. She slightly stood on tiptoe, her warm breath brushing against my ear. Does Xiao Chen want to sleep in the same bed, or sleep separately? At this moment, Gu Qinghan was completely different from her serious daytime self. Her rising tone carried a trace of temptation. I was surrounded by the clean scent coming from the woman. My mind instantly grew hazy, and I couldn't think straight. Before I could answer, Gu Qinghan stepped back with restraint. This apartment has 2 bedrooms. You'll sleep in the master bedroom. I'll sleep in the guest room. Originally, now that we're already married, sleeping together would be perfectly natural. But we've only had limited contact before, so we aren't that familiar with each other yet. I indeed still wasn't ready yet. Gu Qinghan clearly noticed my nervousness and didn't make things difficult for me. Meanwhile, at the villa entrance in hiking, Zhang Wanru and the others returned to the villa with Song Jingnian, but the villa gate was tightly shut. They entered the old password, but no matter what, they couldn't open the door. Zhang Wanru immediately called her assistant. Get someone to come check. What's wrong with the villa's password lock? The assistant didn't reply right away. Instead, after a moment of silence, said, Boss, this villa is currently listed for sale on the second-hand housing market. I'll send you the listing information. Please take a look. Hearing this, Zhang Wanru's face instantly darkened. She clicked the link sent by the assistant. The villa listed for sale was exactly the one they lived in. Second sister sensed something was wrong and leaned closer to ask, Big sister, what happened? Zhang Wanru frowned deeply. This house was put up for sale by Xiao Chen on the second-hand market. Hearing this news, everyone's expressions instantly darkened. From the wedding venue earlier today, where that woman with an overwhelming presence appeared, to now the villa being listed for sale, they suddenly realized I truly wasn't joking with them, but genuinely intended to leave them. The four exchanged glances, and all saw the panic and unease in each other's eyes. They had never imagined that I would truly leave them. Previously, when they subtly expressed affection toward me, I would become shy and flustered. I had clearly wanted to marry them with all my heart before, yet struggled, unable to choose between the four of them. The four of them had even made an agreement that no matter who I chose, they would all remain close and never let it affect their sisterly bond. But now, how could I skip over all four of them and choose someone else instead? All this time, I had kept saying I already had a wife. So it all turned out to be true. Ever since a month ago, I had already been planning to leave them. Only then did Zhang Yu finally realize it. Big sister, could Xiang Chen really be leaving us to marry someone else? Was that woman really Gu Qinghan today? After Zhang Wanru left the manor, she had someone pull up today's livestream replay. A scene like that could probably only be orchestrated by the military. Besides, someone who dared to treat the four of them like that, without fearing the consequences, could only be Gu Qinghan. Zhang Wanru silently nodded. The expressions of the four women instantly turned dreadful. If it were anyone else, they would still have complete confidence in snatching me back from them. But if it was Gu Qinghan, then things became extremely difficult. The four of them all held back their frustration, not knowing how to vent it. Meanwhile, Song Jingnian beside them felt extremely relieved. If Zhang Sheng really got married, then no one would compete with me for these four women anymore. Although today's wedding had fallen apart, after this, the five of us would still live under the same roof. There would still be plenty of chances to build feelings when the time came. As long as he married one of the four women, he would be able to firmly establish himself in hiking. Thinking of all this, he felt incredibly smug inside, but on the surface, he acted aggrieved. Xiao Cheng clearly knew that all of you grew up together in this villa. So, why did he sell the villa? Hearing Song Jingnian's words, the expressions of the others darkened even more. Not only had I abandoned them, I had also thrown away all the years of affection and memories they shared. No matter what, the most important thing now was to keep this villa. Even if the person was gone, at least the thing should remain. That way, they could still have something to hold on to. Zhang Wanru immediately called her assistant. Buy this villa back. The assistant hesitated for a moment before awkwardly saying, "Boss, there's not enough money in the accounts." Zhang Wanru frowned. How could there not be enough money? Did something happen to the company? The assistant stammered nervously. Boss, the company is fine. It's just that you no longer have the authority to use company funds. The old master revoked your privileges. And the money in your personal account isn't enough to pay for this villa either. Silence fell. The voice on the phone sounded especially loud. Everyone standing around heard it clearly. If Grandpa had stepped in, then he definitely knew about my marriage too. Grandpa had always known that the four of them had originally been chosen and raised by him to become my fiancés. Now there wasn't even the slightest hope left. Zhang Qianqian stepped forward and patted Big Sister on the shoulder. Big Sister, I still have some savings. See if it's enough when combined together. Second sister also chimed in. Add mine too. Zhang Yu quickly added, I've always saved up all my racing prize money. Big sister, take it all too. This villa was located in the center of hiking and was worth over $1 billion. The four of them had never imagined that they would one day become this desperate, having to scrape money together just to buy a villa. For a moment, everyone fell silent. When Song Jingnian heard all this, his expression changed for a second. But after thinking about it, Zhang Wanru was a top-tier financial expert. Second sister was a world-class doctor. Third sister was an award-winning actress. And fourth sister was a top professional race car driver. Even without the Zhang family's support, these women could still live very well. Besides, he had already gotten used to living in this villa. Other houses were small and shabby. He simply looked down on them. He also carefully spoke up, Big sister, I have some money too. Before he could finish speaking, Zhang Yu directly interrupted him. How much money could you possibly have? When Zhang Yu saw Song Jingnian's aggrieved expression, she also realized her words were inappropriate and quickly added, I didn't mean anything else. This villa has nothing to do with you. You don't need to pay. But her words didn't comfort Song Jingnian at all. Instead, his expression worsened. Only now, the attention of the others was no longer focused on him. Naturally, no one noticed him. Song Jingnian felt neglected, and naturally felt upset. If this were before, they would have noticed even the slightest change in his mood. As long as he felt wronged, all of them would become distressed and worried. Why had everything changed? The moment I left, John Wanru gathered everyone's money together and called the assistant by the villa back. After hanging up the phone, she said to the others, "I still have some stocks and funds. Once the money is withdrawn, I'll return your shares to you." As the eldest sister, she naturally couldn't let her younger sisters suffer. Although the four of them weren't related by blood, they had weathered countless storms together over the years, supporting each other. They had long since become family in each other's hearts. Second sister adjusted her glasses. "Big sister, we all have enough money to live on. There's no rush with your investments. Just treat this money as if we're storing it with you. When we truly need money, we'll naturally ask you for it." The other two also nodded in agreement. "That's right, big sister. We're not in a hurry, as long as we can buy the villa back. After all, this is our home." The moment the word home was mentioned, the eyes of all four women reddened slightly. It was Grandpa who had given them a home. Back then, here in this place, together with me, they had shared many happy memories. The assistant worked quickly. In less than 10 minutes, the transaction was completed, and the new password for the front gate was sent over. The moment the four of them entered the house, they all felt relieved. At least they had managed to preserve the memories between them. They ignored Song Jingnian behind them and walked straight to my room. Only then did they realize that many places in the villa felt empty, and in my room, aside from the furniture, there was nothing left. I had left so decisively that they had no choice but to accept the fact that I was gone. The women took out their phones, wanting to send me messages, but all they received was a red exclamation mark. Johnny felt like insects were gnawing at her heart, yet she couldn't clearly describe the feeling. She just felt irritated. How could he block all of us like this? Does he really not care about our relationship after all these years? Second sister stared at the chat window on her phone. Her chat history with me had stopped a month ago. Almost every message was me apologizing, and every reply from her was always asking me to give things to Song Jingnian. Suddenly, her legs went weak, and she sat on the bed. Did we all do something wrong? Ever since Jingnian arrived, we kept making him give more and more things to Jingnian, but those things originally belonged to him. Some people only learn to cherish something after losing it. The women all looked at the chat histories on their phones with me. Only then did they realize how many hurtful things they had done to me before. I had originally been their most cherished little prince, so how had things changed like this later on? At that moment, Song Jingnian came over, shrinking back timidly, his tone pitiful. "Third sister, can you sleep with me tonight? The villa feels so empty. I'm really scared." Zhang Qianqian looked at the person before her, but there was no longer any tenderness in her eyes. Her tone was cold. "If you're scared, turn on the lights. What's the point of looking for me?" When Song Jingnian heard those words, he froze on the spot. In the past, whenever he was scared, the four women would fight over who got to comfort him to sleep. But now, not one of them could even be bothered to look up at him. His tears instantly fell. He choked out, "I'm really scared." Seeing him look so pitiful, they still couldn't bear it in the end. Zhang Yu walked over directly. "Come on, I'll stay with you tonight." The women spent the whole night sleepless, thinking about how they could bring me back. Now that I was no longer in this house, everything felt empty. This villa carried too many memories for us. From when I was 10 years old until I graduated college, those sweet and bittersweet memories from the past all flooded into their minds. I slept especially well that night. It was the best sleep I'd had since being reborn. Gu Qinghan had helped me get rid of those people. I didn't even have nightmares last night. When I woke up, it was already close to noon. Gu Qinghan had brought lunch back for me during her break. The cafeteria food is pretty bland. I was afraid you wouldn't be used to it, so I went outside the base to get you spicy diced chicken and boiled pork slices. Come try them. I could smell the aroma from the start. Ever since I was little, I couldn't live without spicy food. These two dishes were perfectly suited to my taste. Seeing me eat so happily, a faint smile appeared on Gu Qinghan's usually cold face. "Slow down. No one's going to steal your food." She handed me a glass of water. "I'm off this afternoon. Let's go visit Grandpa at the Gu family's nursing home together." I nodded in agreement. In my previous life, I had been imprisoned by Zhang Wanru and the others. Before Grandpa passed away, he never got to see me one last time. That had always been my greatest regret. Grandpa had accomplished many great deeds when he was young, but in his old age, his old injuries caused him constant pain. though his body was still fairly strong. Not long after this, in my previous life, Grandpa suddenly died from a heart attack. In this life, I was going to take Grandpa for a thorough checkup and prevent the tragedy from happening again. When we headed out the door, Gu Qinggan's soft hand slipped into mine. Her hand was gentle, yet it felt like something was lightly brushing against my palm, making it itch. Even my heart felt ticklish. The two of us walked beneath a row of sycamore trees. Warm sunlight slowly poured over us, stretching our shadows long. This was probably what peaceful happiness felt like. "Hello, brother-in-law." A few of Gu Qinggan's new recruits suddenly appeared on the road and greeted me in unison as brother-in-law. My face instantly heated up. I quietly replied, "Hello." Then shyly, half hid behind Gu Qinggan. Normally, when Gu Qinggan trained them, she always wore a cold expression, unlike now when she was treating them so kindly. Every brother-in-law made me wish I could disappear. But Gu Qinggan clearly enjoyed hearing it. The Gu family's nursing home wasn't far from the family quarters, but somehow the walk felt very long. My whole face was burning red. The moment I saw Grandpa, I rushed over and hugged him on the hospital bed. Tears instantly welled up in my eyes. "Grandpa, I missed you so much." Even while lying in bed, the old man still carried an imposing aura, but my choked-up voice clearly moved him. Grandpa patted my back. "All right now, Xiaochen, you're already grown up. Why are you still crying?" Reluctantly, I finally straightened up, while Gu Qinggan was still standing nearby. Gu Qinggan immediately stepped forward and took my hand, gently patting it. "Grandpa, Xiaochen just missed you too much." Seeing how protectively Gu Qinggan shielded me, Grandpa revealed a satisfied smile. "Now that you've joined the military life, you two can see each other often from now on. If Qinggan ever bullies you, just tell Grandpa, and Grandpa will teach her a lesson." Gu Qinggan turned to look at me, her eyes carrying a gentle smile. "Don't worry, Grandpa. I would never bully Xiaochen." Good, good, good." Grandpa on the hospital bed nodded repeatedly. He was extremely satisfied with Gu Qinggan as his granddaughter-in-law. As if remembering something, I stepped forward and asked, "Grandpa, have you felt any discomfort in your heart recently?" The old man shook his head. "My heart feels fine. I'm staying in the rehabilitation ward. The problems are all old injuries and aches. I haven't felt any discomfort in my heart." Even though Grandpa said that, I still remembered my previous life, where Grandpa had suddenly died from a heart attack. So I still took him for an examination, holding the test results in my hand. Everything showed his heart function was normal. I found it strange. If Grandpa's heart function was normal, how could he suddenly die from a heart attack? Inside the hiking villa, the four sisters had already been searching for me for a week, but there was still no news. It was as if I had suddenly vanished from the world. They desperately recalled everything I had said. Over the past month, the only useful clue they got was one sentence. "I'm going to marry Gu Qinggan." Every spring festival in previous years, they had spent it with me. Now that I was gone, the four women were lifeless. Song Jingnian carefully made dumplings for them, with his own hands, but they didn't even glance at them. Second sister couldn't stand the atmosphere anymore. She suddenly remembered that I had stayed in the hospital for several days before, and the VIP wards in their hospital all had surveillance cameras. Maybe they could find some clues there. Second sister grabbed her coat and left immediately, only leaving one sentence for the other three. "I'm going to check the surveillance footage from the hospital room Xiaochen stayed in before. Maybe I'll discover something." These past few days, Song Jingnian had already felt wronged because of how coldly the four women treated him, and now they were directly ignoring him, which made him feel even worse. With teary eyes, he said, "Big sister, third sister, fourth sister, I made these dumplings myself. Please at least eat a little." In the past, whenever the three women saw him like this, they would definitely rush over to comfort him. But now, all they felt was inexplicable irritation. Zhang Wanru didn't even spare him a glance, calmly saying, "I'm going to the hospital to check the surveillance footage too." The others also followed her out. Hearing this, Song Jingnian suddenly panicked. That day at the hospital, he had provoked me, and even admitted the truth about drugging me. If the women saw that footage, he would be completely finished. He desperately tried to stop them, but he still couldn't hold them back. When the four women saw the hospital surveillance footage, showing his arrogant and provocative behavior, they stormed back, wanting to confront him. But before they could even speak, he directly knelt in front of the four women. "I'm sorry. Everything was my fault. I shouldn't have flaunted your affection in front of Xiaochen. Even after already receiving all your love, you can punish me however you want." Now that they had seen his arrogant and domineering true colors, looking back at his crying and pitiful act now, it was truly disgusting. Jang Wonru was the most logical among them. She ignored his words, and instead questioned him. In the footage, you said that you harmed Zhang Chen, so that means the aphrodisiac incense in the lounge back then really was lit by you. No one falsely accused you, right? Song Jingnian had never expected Jang Wonru to remember something from so long ago. Cold sweat instantly covered his body, and he trembled uncontrollably. The expressions of all for women changed at once. They never imagined that the innocent-looking boy they had carefully protected was actually a venomous snake. Zhang Yu was closest to me in age, and originally had been the most protective of me. But later, under Song Jingnian's repeated manipulation and pitiful acts, her heart gradually shifted. She had no idea how many times before he had deliberately framed me. Thinking of this, her heart instantly turned cold. If it weren't for this surveillance footage, the women would probably still would have suspected that I was playing hard to get that night. The expressions of the for women turned icy. Song Jingnian was so frightened that he collapsed to the floor. He begged in near despair. I didn't do anything. I was framed. Please believe me, okay? Xiao Chen sponsored my education and helped me so much. How could I possibly hurt him? He desperately forced out tears, but he failed to move anyone. Even the second sister, who had always been gentle with him, spoke coldly now. Big sister, he's no longer suitable to work in the company. Fire him. Song Jingnian crawled forward on his knees, trying to grab the second sister's pant leg, but she shook him off immediately. He kept kodoing and begging, Big sister, second sister, please don't fire me. If I lose this job, I'll have no choice but to return to my hometown. And then, all alone, who knows how badly the villagers will bully me. Please, have mercy on me. The for women showed not the slightest bit of sympathy after hearing that. Zhang Yu directly grabbed his chin. I protected you so much, yet you're such a vicious man. How many times exactly did you frame Xiao Chen and play all of us like fools? Did it make you happy to feel accomplished? You should go back to your mountains and be sold off to some old widow. I'm sending you back tomorrow. Hearing this, Song Jingnian completely panicked. Fourth sister, please, don't treat me like this. As long as you don't send me back, I'll do anything. Please don't chase me away. Zhang Yu flung him aside. Don't call me fourth sister. I don't have a snake-hearted brother like you. Song Jingnian continued begging nonstop, repeating the same useless pleas. But gradually, his tone became perfunctory. He was stalling for time, waiting for an opportunity. Jang Wonru was the first to realize it. A growing heat slowly spread through her body. She wanted to leave, but her legs had gone weak. For the first time, a fierce look appeared in her eyes, as she stared at Song Jingnian and said word by word, You lit aphrodisiac incense in here. Hearing that, the others slowly realized it too. Their bodies were burning with varying degrees of heat. Zhang Qianqian even directly tugged open her collar, exposing the fullness of her chest. A smile curled onto Song Jingnian's lips. That's right. I've figured it out. As long as I get you pregnant with my child, I can naturally stay here. Ever since the four of them went to the hospital to check the surveillance footage, he had already come up with this plan. Originally, he thought, as long as the five of them lived under the same roof, he would eventually win over one of them, then get married and stay. But these past few days, watching them desperately search for me, while completely ignoring him, made him realize that was impossible. So he might as well make them pregnant with his child. After all, illegitimate children still had inheritance rights. And then he could still become rich in the end. Hearing his words, Zhang Yu cursed furiously. What kind of trash are you? To think you're worthy of having children with us. You're not even comparable to one of Xiao Chen's toes. Hearing that, Song Jingnian only laughed louder. And what exactly is Zhang Cheng? He only relies on the fact that he was born into a good family. If he had been born like me, in that cannibalistic mountain village, with dead parents and old widows in the village eyeing him every day, he might not even have been able to escape the mountains like I did. If I had a background as good as his, I definitely wouldn't be like this now. Zhang Qianqian immediately sneered, sarcastically. Did you forget who paid for your high school and college tuition? Without Xiao Chen, you never would have escaped those mountains. As she spoke, she kept panting because of the drug's effects. Her originally gentle voice became even more alluring. Among the group, Song Jingnian had genuinely fallen for Zhang Qianqian once. If she became pregnant with his child, he would be very happy. He had taken an inhibitor beforehand, so he was much more clear-headed than the four women in the room. Song Jingnian crawled over to Zhang Qianqian and pulled open her collar, his fingers tracing circles across her body. Zhang Qianqian looked at the person before her. Her first instinct was to push him away, but under the influence of the drug, she still let out a soft moan. Song Jingnian's actions only further ignited the fire of desire within her. Her body burned relentlessly, and Song Jingnian continued teasing her at the side. All of her rationality was instantly burned away. Only when dawn finally broke did this absurd farce come to an end. From that day onward, Song Jingnian was imprisoned by them, since he insisted on degrading himself. Then they couldn't be blamed for being ruthless. They used every possible method on him, even binding his legs with silver chains so he couldn't escape. Soon, 3 months passed, and they still hadn't gotten any news about me. But they learned that Grandpa had been discharged from the hospital. They called Grandpa, hoping to see me, and apologized to me face to face. When Grandpa answered the call, I happened to be beside him. Without even thinking, I refused. No need to come see me. I'm doing very well. You should all just live your own lives properly. Those for women were personally chosen by Grandpa from the orphanage back then. He had raised them like his own granddaughters for so many years. No matter what, there were still feelings involved, and he more or less understood the current situation outside. He had already demoted John Wanru within the company, a very small branch company. The people there did not treat her very well. That's how the business world is. When you're successful, countless people surround you. But when you fall from grace, everyone avoids you. Zhang Qianqian also lost many resources. Without the backing investments, even her entertainment company no longer treated her kindly. Various commercial activities were reduced. That's how the entertainment industry is. They worship the powerful and scorn the weak. As for the other two, I didn't know about them. But in terms of quality of life, it definitely couldn't compare to before. If they hadn't done those wrong things, not only would they not have ended up like this, they could have continued living proudly and confidently. But their mistake was crossing his bottom line. I am Grandpa's only grandson. He raised them so they could protect me when he grew old. But not only did they fail to protect me, they even helped outsiders bully me. That was something Grandpa absolutely could not tolerate. I crouched down and massaged Grandpa's legs, then softly asked, Grandpa. King Han applied for a month-long leave. We're going back to register our marriage. Do you want to come back with us? The old man nodded. Of course, I'll go back with you. This time, both families definitely need to meet formally and have a meal together. Although he knew that women of the Gu family were traditionally loyal, he still wanted to go personally to support his grandson. Besides, those girls were still in hiking. After returning, he also wanted to keep an eye on things, so Xiao Chen wouldn't be bullied by them again. Gu Qinghan didn't return to the family quarters until after evening training. I was already asleep when she came back. She gently pulled back the blanket and wrapped her arm around me from behind. The moment her arm pressed against my waist, I woke up. Her warm breath brushed against the hollow of my neck. Did I wake you up? I shook my head and turned to face her. It's because I was sleeping lightly. I always feel like something will happen when we go back this time. At this time in my previous life, Grandpa had already passed away. Although in this life, all of Grandpa's health checkups came back fine, I still felt a faint sense of unease. Gu Qinghan noticed my anxiety and held me tightly. Don't worry, leave everything to me. When Gu Qinghan spoke, her voice was gentle yet firm. It really made people feel at ease. I let her hold me and stopped thinking about anything else. Closing my eyes and emptying my mind, I fell asleep. Gu Qinghan looked at the person sleeping beside her. She would protect me for the rest of her life and never let me be hurt again. The next day, the two of us got up very early and together with Grandpa, took a helicopter back to hiking. After returning to hiking, the first thing we did was go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get our marriage certificate. Looking at the little red marriage booklets in front of us, both of us unconsciously smiled. Gu Qinghan stood on tiptoe and kissed the corner of my lips. After proposing 88 times, I finally got the marriage certificate with the person I love. Over these 3 months, the two of us fell in love after marriage, and our feelings gradually deepened. From the very beginning, I could feel her overwhelming love. I was a little curious. Clearly, we hadn't spent much time together before. So, why were her feelings so intense that she would persistently propose 88 times? I had never asked before. But today I really couldn't hold back anymore. I raised my eyes to look at Gu Qinghan. Can I ask you a question? Gu Qinghan held me and gently rubbed against my chin. Go ahead and ask. As long as I know the answer, I'll tell you. I want to ask. Back then, there wasn't really much interaction between us. So why did you propose to me 88 times? Weren't you afraid that I wasn't actually the real person you thought I was? That I might actually be spoiled and willful? Gu Qinghan did not answer me immediately. Instead, she looked deeply into my eyes with affection. Then whispered in my ear, "Think carefully. Did we really have no interactions at all?" Her question left me a little confused. When had we ever had any deep interactions? With a face as stunning as Gu Qinghan's, how could I not remember her? My brows furrowed together. Other than Gu Qinghan confessing to me, where else had I met her? I really couldn't remember. I looked up at the person before me and muttered, "Other than when you confessed to me. Have we met before? You're not lying to me, are you?" I searched through all my past memories and confirmed that I had no impression other than the confession. I seriously suspected Gu Qinghan was teasing me. Gu Qinghan smiled and shook her head, completely helpless with the person in her arms. Fine, I was lying to you. I simply fell for your looks. That's why I kept persistently proposing to you." That answer sounded even more absurd than before. Of course, I didn't believe it. I pushed away the person holding me and pouted, "Forget it if you won't tell me." Gu Qinghan grabbed my hand and pulled me back into her arms, then softly coaxed me. It's just that our first meeting wasn't particularly pleasant. At that time, I was 10 years old, an age that should have been carefree and happy. But that year, my parents had an accident, and both passed away. Grandpa lost his children in his old age, and aged greatly overnight. As for 10-year-old me, I came down with a severe fever, and nearly lost half my life. That was when she met me. At the time, she had been diagnosed with a rare illness, temporary hearing loss in both ears. During the hardest period of her life, I appeared. Even though I still had a fever myself, I went to her hospital room every day to tell her stories. She couldn't hear them, so I drew them instead. My little sketchbook was filled with stories. It was also because of my encouragement that she slowly walked out of the darkness. After she recovered, she originally wanted to say a proper goodbye to me, but her family urgently arranged for her to study abroad, and we didn't even get a proper farewell. My eyes became slightly moist. So that person was still you. During the time Gu Qinghan mentioned, Grandpa was busy handling family affairs, and no one stayed with me in the hospital. Every day, all I faced were the bodyguards. At that time, I was still young. I didn't truly understand the meaning of death. I only knew that I no longer had parents. When I was in the hospital, I was always alone. I had no playmates and no family. Gu Qinghan was also my light during that time, because she stayed with me. My illness slowly improved. After Gu Qinghan left, I mysteriously came down with another high fever, and because of that fever, my already hazy memories became even blurrier, so I didn't recognize immediately that Gu Qinghan was that little girl. Gu Qinghan wiped away my tears and softly coaxed me, "Don't cry anymore. We still have to go home for dinner later. If Grandpa sees this, he'll say I bullied you again." I couldn't help but laugh. Then later I'm going to complain to Grandpa that there was a little girl who bullied me when I was 10 and made me draw comics for her every day. Gu Qinghan shook her head helplessly, her eyes full of laughter. Her husband was someone she had to spoil herself. Then what should I do so you won't be angry anymore? Gu Qinghan only succeeded after proposing 88 times, so she treasured this more than anyone. No matter what happened, she would never let go. The two families had arranged to have dinner together. Grandpa had changed clothes early. Both families took this meeting very seriously. Inside the private room, Gu Qinghan's parents held my hands warmly and stuffed big red envelopes into my hands, along with a black gold card. "Xiaochen, this is to celebrate you and Qinghan getting your marriage certificate. From now on, buy whatever you want. You don't need to save money for Qinghan." After speaking, they took out several property deeds and handed them to me. "Last time we met was too rushed. We didn't have time to give these to you. Take a look and choose whichever house you like as your new home." Although I wasn't lacking these things, it still felt wonderful to be cherished by others. I could feel the sincere care in their eyes. Gu Qinghan also smiled. "Just accept them. Mom and Dad specially prepared these for us." I nodded and looked at the two elders with a smile. "Thank you, Mom and Dad." Hearing my words, their eyes lit up with joy. We toasted Grandpa with a glass of wine. "Old master, You've raised Xiao Chen very well. Being able to marry our King Han is King Han's blessing. Grandpa cheerfully drank the wine. I'm also relieved that Xiao Chen married King Han. It was obvious that all three elders were extremely satisfied with this marriage. At the dinner table, all the elders kept putting food into my bowl, until my bowl looked like a small mountain. But I couldn't refuse the elders' kindness, so I ate everything one by one. Gu King Han beside me also noticed, and silently helped me eat quite a lot. But in the end, I still ate a huge amount of meat. So much that later, just seeing the meat in my bowl made me feel a little nauseous. Gu King Han also ate quite a lot, and by the end, she also felt a little sick. But that reaction immediately caused quite a stir. When Gu King Han's mother saw it, her eyes lit up. King Han's reaction. Could it be that something happened? That single sentence instantly made me blush. Gu King Han and I had indeed already slept together, but I really hadn't thought that far ahead. After dinner, the elders from both families all urged Gu King Han to go to the hospital for a checkup tomorrow, and the two of us nodded in agreement. Compared to the joy on this side, the villa on the other side was a completely different scene. Song Jingnian was tortured by the four women every day. He had long regretted what he did back then. He kept begging for mercy, but not a single one of them spared him. Back when he lived in this luxurious villa, he had lived like a real young master, spoiled by everyone. But now he had fallen into becoming the four women's toy. He collapsed on the floor and shed sincere tears. Even though sunlight shone outside, Song Jingnian felt like he could no longer see the light. He had desperately crawled his way out of the mountains and gotten into college. Later, he painstakingly tried to please me, making me pity him and bring him into the villa. Step by step, through sowing discord and manipulation, he finally made my four older sisters spoil him in every possible way. He couldn't understand why everything he had fought so hard for changed completely the moment I left. Now he had been completely crushed into the dirt, as if a beautiful dream had shattered entirely. Now he had become the ugly duckling again. But he refused to accept it. Why was it that I, someone so arrogant, could receive the affection of all four of them, and now even marry into the most powerful Gu family in Hiking? Was it just because I had a better background? In terms of ability, which part of him was inferior to me? He was unwilling to give up. He wanted to make one final attempt. For 3 whole months, the four women entered Song Jingnian's room, reeking of alcohol. They searched frantically from the outside, but after losing their privileges, they seemed so ordinary when facing those wealthy elite families. All the anger in their hearts was vented onto Song Jingnian. That night, they walked into his room as usual. He immediately knelt on the floor. Big sister, second sister, third sister, fourth sister. I know I was wrong. I was really wrong. I shouldn't have harmed Zhongshen. I also shouldn't have fantasized about getting you. I was really wrong. Please, just let me go. He begged for forgiveness over and over again. But the four women remained unmoved. Zhang Qianqian said coldly, "Drop your little act. We're not going to let you fool us anymore." Zhang Yu directly leaned in and grabbed his chin. "You think making yourself look this pathetic will make us spare you? Do you know how badly you've ruined us? Not only did we lose Xiao Chen, big sister, also lost her position as the CEO of the group. These days, big sister has been in that crappy branch company, getting looked down on everywhere. Third sister was even betrayed by people in the industry. If this had been before, even if they had 10 times the courage, they wouldn't have dared to do this. You destroyed all of this. So tell us, why should we forgive you?" Unexpectedly, Song Jingnian suddenly dropped his submissive attitude and viciously bit Zhang Yu. Zhang Yu's hand was immediately bitten until it bled, leaving behind a deep bite mark. She immediately slapped Song Jingnian across the face. "You dare bite me?" Song Jingnian was struck so hard that stars filled his vision. His face turned pale. Like a ghost, he spat out a mouthful of blood. He looked up at the four women before him, a mocking smile appearing in his eyes. "You people who think you're so superior, aren't you just as pathetic as me deep down? You desperately tried to please Zhongshen just to climb higher." Song Jingnian's words instantly ignited everyone's anger. Xianyu flew into a rage. "What kind of bullshit are you spewing? If you keep talking nonsense, I'll kill you." Second sister also abandoned her usual refined demeanor and spoke with extreme harshness. Not everyone is a gold digger like you. If you don't know how to speak properly, I don't mind sewing your mouth shut, so you'll never be able to open it again. Even Zhang Wanrong, who had remained silent all this time, finally spoke. Our relationship with Xiao Chen spans more than 10 years. It's not something someone like you can tarnish here. As the women spoke, their voices were several tones louder than usual. When people feel guilty, they often react like this. Song Jingnian's words had dragged out the deepest secret hidden in their hearts. In the beginning, when they first came to this home from the orphanage, they truly did everything they could to please me, giving in to me everywhere, indulging me, only hoping that I could be happy, because they knew, as long as I was happy, they could continue staying here and never return to the orphanage. Jian Wanru would have access to better educational resources and be able to get into a better university. As for the others, they could enjoy better living conditions and a better environment without worrying about food and clothing, and they could pursue the things they wanted. Grandpa told them that one day I would choose one of them to be my wife. Deep down, they knew that only the chosen one would be able to keep all of this forever. From then on, they all spoiled me as if I were their fiancé. Watching that little boy from back then gradually grow into a handsome young man. Through their day-by-day interactions, they all slowly fell in love. It's just that none of them made it to obvious, because they didn't want to make the other three uncomfortable. They made a pact that no matter who I chose, none of them would turn against each other. They would still remain good sisters. How could a vicious man like Song Jinlian possibly understand their feelings? The man before them did not back down because of their words. Instead, he laughed even harder. Curling his lips into a sneer, he continued mocking them. Really? Without Zhang Chen, would you even have the lives you have today? You and I are the same, just orphans. No family to dote on or love us. We're all just the lowest and most worthless kinds of people. Zhang Yu directly slapped him. I'll show you who's truly worthless. If it had been before, Song Jingnian would have already begged for mercy and dodged away. But today, he instead stepped forward. He looked directly into Zhang Yu's eyes. Yes, I'm cheap, but maybe you're already pregnant with my child. Then your child would be just as lowly. The women were all shaken for a moment after hearing this. The fierce anger in Zhang Yu's eyes faded slightly. The room also fell into dead silence. The four women exchanged glances, looking at one another speechlessly. In the end, Big Sister was the one who spoke. We'll go to the hospital for a checkup tomorrow. You'd better not try anything crooked. There was one thing Song Jingnian said that was true. They were all orphans. No one had loved or cherished them since childhood. When other children had parents and relatives doting on them, they were still worrying about getting enough food to eat. Later, after entering the orphanage, they worked hard to fit in, doing all kinds of chores to please the director, just so they could get one extra piece of candy. They carefully made friends with the children around them. But later, those friends would also be adopted away one by one. The people around them changed again and again. Deep down, they were all lonely. If they really were pregnant, they would keep the child. No matter whose child it was, it would still be family to them. After saying so much, what Song Jingnian had been waiting for was for them to take him to the hospital. Inside the villa, there was no chance for him to escape under the watch of the four women. But at the hospital, with crowds everywhere, he would have plenty of chances to escape. That night, the four women did not torment Song Jingnian again. This was the only time in the past 3 months that Song Jingnian was able to sleep at night. But the sleep was far from peaceful. He kept having fragmented dreams filled entirely with the four women tormenting him. These days, he had practically been living in hell. Both his body and spirit had been suffering terribly. He woke up before dawn, unable to fall back asleep at all. His heart was full of anticipation at the thought of escaping this cage. The next day, the four women all canceled their work and took Song Jingnian with them for the examination. No matter where they went, the four women kept a close eye on him. At first, Song Jingnian thought that while they were doing private examinations, he would be able to avoid them and find a chance to escape. But second sister used her status as a doctor and brought him along for every examination, not leaving him the slightest chance to run away. The hope that had lit up Song Jingnian's eyes dimmed once again. Was he really going to live like this forever? If he was going to be imprisoned like this and used as their toy, Then what difference was there between this and being sold to an old widow in the mountains? Despair once again filled his eyes. At the Gu family villa, I slept until I woke up naturally. Gu Qinghan stood beside the bed and leaned down to kiss my forehead. Hungry? Let's eat something together. Then we'll go to the hospital. I asked the doctor. If it's only to check for pregnancy, fasting isn't necessary. I wrapped my arms around her neck and could still clearly see her slightly flushed cheeks. I moved closer to her ear and said softly and sweetly, "But I don't have the strength. I can't get out of bed." Before I could finish speaking, Gu Qinghan pulled me up in one motion. I cried out in surprise and quickly grabbed onto her shoulders. As soon as we stepped outside, we ran straight into Grandpa, who had just returned from his morning exercise. Grandpa's voice came from beside me. "Xiaochen, you're already grown up, and you're still clinging to your wife at home. What kind of behavior is that? Hurry up and let go." When I heard Grandpa's words, my face instantly turned red with embarrassment. I tightly hugged Gu Qinghan. I struggled, wanting to let go, but Gu Qinghan held me even tighter. Then she looked at Grandpa and said seriously, "Grandpa, wasn't the reason you agreed to let me pursue Xiaochen because you believed I would spoil him after marriage and protect him? He just woke up and is still sleepy. He doesn't have the strength to walk, so it's only right for me to support him." I secretly pinched her back, but she only became more enthusiastic as she spoke. "Grandpa, have you had breakfast yet? Do you want to eat with us?" Grandpa waved his hand. Just like that, she led me downstairs by the hand. I couldn't help but complain, though my voice carried a trace of affection. "Don't do that in front of Grandpa next time." Gu Qinghan gently whispered by my ear, "It's okay. Didn't you see how satisfied Grandpa looked?" After the two of us finished breakfast, we finally left for the hospital. Gu Qinghan planned to use the VIP channel, but I stopped her. "We're not in a hurry. Let's just line up at the obstetrics department. There's no need for special arrangements." She nodded. "Okay, my dear husband." After registering, the two of us went straight to line up at obstetrics. I never expected to run into the four sisters and Song Jingni in here. Eldest sister Zhang Wanru sat there, with a serious expression on the bench by the door, while the others surrounded Song Jingni. Second sister happened to be facing the hallway entrance and spotted me the moment I walked in. "Xiaochen," second sister cried out in surprise, drawing everyone's attention toward me. Even eldest sister Zhang Wanru stood up. The four women looked at me with complicated expressions. There was surprise, expectation, as well as unease and helplessness. Zhang Yu walked straight toward me, but when she was only a few steps away, Gu Qinghan blocked her path, as if she couldn't see the icy look on Gu Qinghan's face. She looked directly at me behind Gu Qinghan, completely changing her previous attitude, her voice filled with gentleness and grievance. "Xiaochen, where did you go these past 3 months? Do you know how long we've been searching for you?" Second sister also walked over. "Xiaochen, stop being angry anymore. We've all missed you very much. Come home with second sister, okay?" And Zhang Qianqian directly reached out to grab me, but Gu Qinghan slapped her hand away. Ever since becoming a famous actress, Zhang Qianqian had never been treated like this, so she immediately felt humiliated. She impulsively shouted, "Gu Qinghan, what right do you have to stop me? We've shared years of history with Xiaochen. How could an outsider like you compare?" Gu Qinghan's originally cold eyes turned even colder. "First of all, I'm not an outsider. I'm Xiaochen's legal wife. Secondly, you all still seem entangled with Song Jingnian. So, where do you get the confidence to question me?" After speaking, Gu Qinghan wiped her fingers, as if she disliked that her hand had just touched Zhang Qianqian. The three women hesitated when they heard Song Jingnian's name. "We only brought Song Jingnian here to see a doctor together. There's no other relationship between us." Gu Qinghan coldly glanced at them, letting out a disdainful scoff. "Coming to the obstetrics department for a checkup? Are you here for a pregnancy test?" Their little thoughts were exposed by Gu Qinghan on the spot, and their arrogance unconsciously faded. As for me, who had been quietly standing behind Gu Qinghan, the moment I saw Song Jingnian, I frowned as well. In just 3 short months, Song Jingnian had become terribly thin, curled up into himself. Everything about him could be summed up in just 2 words: despair. I understood Song Jingnian's condition better than anyone. In my previous life, when I was imprisoned and tortured by the four sisters. I had been in the exact same state, yet these people in front of me still kept talking about how much they missed me and the bond we once shared. Did they want to drag me back and turn me into their plaything again? The thought alone made me feel sick. I held onto the wall and started vomiting beside the trash can. Gu Qinghan immediately patted my back worriedly. The doctor asked, "What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell?" Second sister saw me like this and frowned tightly. "Xiao Chen, what's wrong with you?" While the attention of the four women was completely focused on me, Song Jingnian quietly slipped away from the hospital. Only after vomiting once did I finally feel a little better. I looked coldly at the people in front of me, my expression remaining distant. "What's wrong with me? Why do you care about me? Since you came here, it seems one of you is already pregnant with Song Jingnian's child. I wonder which one of you plans to marry Song Jingnian?" The moment the four women heard those words, their expressions changed. Zhang Qianqian looked at me and said affectionately, "Xiao Chen, in our hearts, there has only ever been you. We would never marry Song Jingnian. And today, bringing him here wasn't for a pregnancy checkup either." As soon as she finished speaking, the nurse's voice rang out. "Song Jingnian's wife's test results are out. Currently 8 weeks pregnant." The nurse's words were like several slaps across Zhang Qianqian's face, but her acting skills had always been excellent. After only a brief moment of embarrassment, she quickly covered it up. "I didn't expect someone was really pregnant. We've been busy searching for you these days, so we never paid attention to whether Song Jingnian had a girlfriend. Such a huge matter. Why didn't you tell us?" She turned her head, wanting to signal Song Jingnian to cooperate with her, only to realize that Song Jingnian had long disappeared from the hallway. "Where's Song Jingnian?" The four women exchanged glances, their eyes filled with panic, but they couldn't lose their temper in front of me. Zhan Wanru, who had remained silent the whole time, finally stepped forward to explain to me, "Xiao Chen, we only took care of Song Jingnian because he was all alone and helpless in hiking. Enough. The four of you don't need to explain any of this to me. From the day King Han and I got married, we no longer had any relationship at all. I remember saying that all ties between us were severed. Stop coming to bother me anymore." My eyes were filled with indifference as I looked at them, as if I were looking at complete strangers. The four women froze upon hearing that. They hadn't expected me to be so heartless. Zhang Qianqian's eyes were full of disappointment. "We've shared more than 10 years together. How can you just let it all go like that?" I only found their behavior ridiculous. From the moment you all kept defending Song Jingnian and hurt me again and again for his sake, the bond between us had already ended. The things you did. Do you need me to remind you all over again? All four of their expressions turned extremely ugly. Back then, for Song Jingnian's sake, they had said countless hurtful things to me. They knew that perfectly well. The sharpest tongued among them was Zhang Yu, and at this moment, she admitted her mistake the fastest. "Xiao Chen, we admit we were wrong. Back then, we were deceived by Song Jingnian. We failed to see his true nature. Now we've finally seen what kind of person he really is. We truly regret it. Please give us another chance. Let us make it up to you, okay?" Second sister spoke in the gentlest tone. "Xiao Chen, I know you still have feelings for us. Back then, to protect my hands, you had people bring fresh milk from New Zealand every day, just so I could soak my hands in it. Have you forgotten all of that?" "I haven't forgotten. I remember it very clearly. In my previous life, I died by these very hands. Now, the owner of those hands was talking to me about feelings." How utterly ridiculous. Even the proud Zhang Manrong lowered her head at this moment. "Xiao Chen, as long as you forgive us, we'll do anything." I was truly fed up with their pestering. My good mood for the entire morning had been ruined. I suddenly felt exhausted. Gu Qinghan supported me from behind. She held my hand and coldly looked at them. "Xiao Chen has already made himself very clear. He doesn't want you bothering him anymore. You should also understand how exactly you obtain your current status. Hiken is not your territory. Before doing anything, you'd better weigh your own capabilities first." After speaking, she snapped her fingers. A row of uniformly dressed bodyguards appeared and threw the four women out of the hospital. "From now on, don't let them appear in front of Xiao Chen again." I nodded as well. Gu Qingyan's was my too. Naturally, they refused to give up. struggling desperately, their eyes red with emotion. Xiaochen, are you really this heartless? Do you really want to cut ties with us? Please give us one more chance. Let's go back to how things used to be. Can't we be as close as before? No matter what they said, I didn't waver in the slightest. I rejected them without hesitation. No, it's already over between us. From now on, we each go our separate ways. We no longer have anything to do with each other. Xiaochen, we've shared more than 10 years together. How can you be so cruel? Don't regret the decision you made today. Gu Qinghan waved her hand and directly ordered the bodyguards to drag them away. I would never regret it. I would only feel fortunate that I left those people behind. After they left, the hallway instantly became much quieter. Only then did Gu Qinghan take me to the examination room. The two of us sat together on a hospital bench waiting for the results. Gu Qinghan nervously fidgeted with her fingers, her usually cold and stern face now slightly tense because of nervousness. I reached out to smooth her brows and teased, "Why are you so nervous? Yesterday, when Grandpa and the others suggested doing the examination, weren't you still very calm then?" Gu Qinghan lifted her eyes to meet mine. "Wasn't that all just an act yesterday? Just thinking that you and I might have a child together makes me unable to suppress my joy and excitement. But I'm also afraid of getting my hopes up and disappointing you. So I kept it all inside." I poked her cheek with my finger. "Are you silly or what? Even if I'm not pregnant this time, we'll still have plenty of chances in the future." Hearing me say that, Gu Qinghan relaxed a little. When she looked at me, her eyes were filled with affection, mixed with a trace of possessiveness. She lowered her voice and whispered in my ear, "That's right. We'll have plenty of chances in the future." An hour later, the results finally came out. Gu Qinghan held the report and read it over and over again, repeatedly confirming that she was really pregnant. Instantly, a smile spread across her usually serious face. The corners of her mouth nearly reached her ears. She happily pulled me into a tight embrace. "Xiaochen, we have our own child now." "I know. Now let me go already." Gu Qinghan's voice was loud and clear. Everyone in the hallway now knew we were having a baby. People passing by all congratulated her. Just after she let me go, her phone suddenly rang. It was her mother calling. "Qinghan, hurry to the Zhang Group building. Someone is causing trouble there. Xiaochen's grandpa is still there. Don't let him get agitated." After hanging up the phone, her brows furrowed deeply. An inexplicable sense of panic rose in my heart as well. My eyelid kept twitching. I quickly asked, "What's wrong, Qinghan? What happened?" "Someone is causing trouble at the Zhang Group building. I'm going over to take a look. I'll have someone send you home first. Wait for me at home." As Gu Qinghan spoke, she was already about to call someone to take me away. I immediately stopped her. "Is Grandpa there too?" She fell silent for a moment before nodding. Without hesitation, I said, "I'm going with you. I'm worried something might happen to Grandpa." Gu Qinghan looked at my determined expression. Seeing that she couldn't persuade me, she directly held my hand and reminded me, "Don't worry too much. No matter what happens, I'll handle it. You just need to protect yourself, okay?" I nodded and agreed with her. "Don't worry. I'll definitely protect myself, you, and our baby too." The two of us drove together to the Zhang Group headquarters building. The moment we opened the car door, we saw Song Jingnian, who had disappeared from the hospital earlier, now standing at the entrance of the building live streaming. A huge crowd had gathered around him. Behind Song Jingnian was a long printed banner. Hiking effort joins forces with Zhang Chen, young master of Zhang Group, to bully and abuse poor students. Song Jingnian cried bitterly in front of the camera, constantly accusing the five of us of our crimes. He kindly sponsored me, but in reality, he only wanted to trick me into returning and make me a toy for his four sisters. The hiking F4 were actually chosen from the orphanage by Zhang Chen's grandfather to become his fiancés. Basically child brides. In private, their lives are utterly chaotic, and even that wasn't enough. They had to drag me into it too. I'm just a poor student. I finally managed to escape the mountains, only to be tricked into the villa under the excuse of sponsorship, where they imprisoned me and let those for torment me. As he spoke, he stepped toward the camera and revealed the scars all over his body. These were all left behind to satisfy the F4's twisted fetishes. They didn't dare use them on Zhang Chen, so they used them all on me instead. And Zhang Chen knew everything, but coldly stood by and watched. The uninformed passers-by nearby, along with the viewers in the live stream, all began cursing me, And the hiking F4, listening to Song Jingnian twist black into white. I clenched my fist in anger. Gu Qinghan worriedly wrapped both arms around my shoulders. Xiao Chen, leave everything to me. She soothed me, and was just about to go confront Song Jingnian, when Song Jingnian struck first. Everyone, look. Everyone, look over there. That's Zhang Chen, that unforgivable sinner. In an instant, all the passers-by looked toward us. Some people even tried to rush over and grab me, but Gu Qinghan kicked the man away with one strike. Her face already carried an intimidating aura even without anger, and now it looked terrifyingly dark. I'd like to see who dares. That's right. I'd like to see who dares hurt my grandson. Grandpa also walked out of the building, bringing a row of security guards to surround me. Song Jingnian pointed at the old man. Look, everyone. This is Haiqing's richest man. And he's no good person either. He's the one who arranged for fiancés for Zhang Chen. Tell me, how worried must he be that his grandson's desires won't be satisfied? Song Jingnian, that's enough. I shouted angrily at Song Jingnian. You can say whatever you want about me, but Grandpa is my bottom line. What? Young Master Zhang is getting anxious now. If the old man thinks that so many women still can't satisfy your grandson's desires, why not just do it yourself? The moment Song Jingnian said those words, Grandpa immediately clutched his chest. Grandpa, I cried out. The unease in my heart reached its peak. In my previous life, Grandpa had died from a sudden heart attack. I no longer cared about what Song Jingnian was saying and directly called for someone to send Grandpa to the hospital. Only after Grandpa was confirmed safe did the heavy weight in my heart finally ease. Based on my previous experience, Grandpa's heart condition in my past life must have been connected to Song Jingnian too. This time, I won't let Song Jingnian off. I directly logged into young Master Jian's Weibo account and clearly listed every single record of sponsoring Song Jingnian from high school through college. Right after that, I received a message from Song Jingnian. Zhang Chen, don't think that this is enough to clear your name. I'm going to ruin all of you. None of us will get away unscathed. Instead, I wasn't worried at all. Neither the four sisters nor Song Jingnian knew that on the first day after my rebirth, I had already installed hidden cameras in the villa. At the time, I wanted to use them to prove my innocence. But later, I became too disappointed. So the recordings were never used. But now they finally had a purpose. I edited together footage of how Song Jingnian framed me at home, how he played innocent and manipulative to gain favor, and even how, after I left, he used aphrodisiac incense in the villa to seduce the four sisters, then posted all the videos on Weibo. Netizens from every side immediately switched positions. Damn. This is way too explosive. This is exactly what they call getting hammered by evidence. This is a real-life version of the farmer and the snake. In the end, I called the police. Song Jingnian was sentenced for defamation. As for the other four sisters, they were sentenced for unlawful imprisonment. The things I failed to accomplish in my previous life were finally completed. All the villains received their punishment. In this life, Grandpa is healthy and long-lived, and Gu Qinghan is by my side. I am very happy.